Welcome to Community Board One's Licensing Committee meeting. I'm Susan Cole, the chair, Francis Curtis, the co-chair, Gabrielle Rossi, the other co-chair, and Onej James, who you all deal with, our fabulous staff person. All right, so we're going to start, and we're going to do the Laughing Man Cafe first.
Evening.
Good evening. You had nobody protesting you. Last time we had remember?
Change of heart, huh? Making progress.
184 Dwayne. What are you here for? Thank you, Francis.
Well, for the outdoor dining, street seating, under the new program, who knows what it is right now, but that's
Okay,
what.
but
that's what-
you have to present us with plans and
I believe those have
everything.
been, I was told they were emailed to you from the city.
Okay, so let's look up on the board.
So just for some context, we have been operating this for probably 10 years now, as you know. This was part of the DOT's original street seat program, which really was intended to be public parks, and that's really the way we've operated. Anybody can sit there. During COVID, it morphed into outdoor dining. We didn't change it at all. We don't have tables out there. We don't do table service. We've operated for the same way. Anybody can sit there. That's our intention. That's the spirit of it. That's what the community likes. We're now coming to you formally for the new process of outdoor seating, submitting basically what we've had for the past few years, but according now to the new DOT drawings and the guidelines, and we replaced the water barriers. We have to be interlocking, have a certain amount of water pounds. Other than that, we don't have any outdoor covering. We never have. We put up umbrellas, which is indicated on the application. Basically, what I'm submitting is what the community is known for, other than now, under the new guidelines, has been operating for the past 10 years.
And your hours, remind me.
6 to 6.
We haven't had any complaints. We haven't. That's very nice.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, the community likes it. It's been a good addition.
Okay. Onej? Anything? No. Anybody? Gabby? And the DOT accepted your handwritten plan. They didn't make you do an architectural plan.
That's what they give you online to do. They say you can hand draw it or do, and basically that copy is step for step there.
Very nice. Addition.
So
Yeah.
it's already approved by.
I'm actually gonna refinish it this season,
Yeah.
spruce it up a bit.
So it won't be, you're not doing it now. It's not till,
No, in fact, it goes away at the end of the month and
And
then
then
comes
comes
back,
back.
yeah.
I thought it was November 3rd. It's not?
End of November.
End of November.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Call the question.
second. All right, so the 6 of us here, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay. So goodbye.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
And thank you.
Godspeed.
That's good.
Anybody intending to do that, just pay attention.
Okay, 28 Liberty. Isn't that the next one? Here, look. This is what she gave me. This is the lecture. I have.
No.
Yeah, I think that's.
Adrian, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Benjamin Korngut. I'm the attorney for the applicant Urban Design Wall Street LLC. AKA Wilkie Sox. I have with me here tonight, Jonathan Ruffinelli and Clement Burrow, who are two of the principals of the applicant. This is an application for a on-premises liquor license at 28 Liberty Street, sub-level 1. That's also known as Chase Manhattan Plaza, formerly known as Chase Manhattan Plaza. This will be the first sub-level of the building. Underneath it is Alamo, and above it is the lobby. This is going to be their 5th location in New York. It is an indoor recreational soccer facility, and they have a little cafe slash bar area attached to it. They have the same setup in all of their other places in the city, proven to be very successful so far. By the way, they also have 2 locations in Montreal. Essentially, Jonathan and Clement can talk about the operation a little bit more, but essentially they run leagues and they have some youth programs there. And the cafe attached to it is really a place for people to gather both before and after. And, the parents are waiting, they might wait there. Jonathan, do you want to talk a little bit about the?
Yes, good evening, everyone. We brought them because we are both French and we are scared you cannot understand our accent. Our business is a circular recreational business, 60% toward youth. We work a lot with schools, community, different community organization. We have our own youth classes and camps as well. 30% is adults, so regular rental or leagues, and 10 to 15% is all food and beverage. And the bar side is important for us to be able to attract corporate events and for the parents of the kids to be able to stay and use the bar area where their kids are practicing. So that's what Soccer Rope is about. We're very excited to finally be able to open in Manhattan after 4 successful locations around in New York, in Brooklyn, Queens, and Westchester.
We're also hoping to be open and operating part of the World Cup in 2026, which we expect soccer to really, it has taken off in the States, but that's really expected to be a huge boost for the soccer industry and the entire United States.
Yes,
We're all excited about the World Cup. It's gonna be here, is that right?
yes,
It's
the
in New York.
final is in New York, in Gardens.
I'm just a little curious. It says lower level and then it says soccer roof.
Yeah, so
We don't like a lot of things up on the roof. What
no,
is
it's
that?
not. The original location we opened in Brooklyn, was on the rooftop, but this one is on the basement and completely enclosed. It's not a roof.
Just
And
want
just
to
to
clarify
clarify,
that.
Yeah.
there's no
Okay.
intent, there's not gonna be a sidewalk.
Yes.
Questions?
Questions?
Is there any residential presence in the building?
To the best of my knowledge, no, it's completely commercial.
That one is commercial, but right across the way is residential, and you don't have any signatures for support, right where I believe where the daycare is.
25.
Across the,
Pine Street.
yeah, thank you. And so I have nothing, and
Well, we have.
There are,
I don't.
55 Liberty.
there's about 7 or 8.
yeah, well, 28 liberties.
So, Simon, during the accident, because he did try, it was difficult to leave signage, he was the doorman, the building itself. Basically, what they did was they waited in the lobby and they got people that lived close by.
Their hours, look, I don't love the hours, so somebody talk besides me.
We typically don't give first applicants till midnight on Sundays.
What would that be, 11?
That's it.
10.
For us, it's okay. We terminate with our hours of operation. If for you, it's very important that we stop at 10 on a Sunday, we take it, but we prefer midnight.
Well, you can come back in here.
Is that in the guidelines? I thought it was on Sunday, it was midnight.
Yeah. No, it's Sundays, it says 10.
Okay.
That's our, we have
We
tried to
understand.
do that, that's the community. The other hours, Gab, are they all, everybody, they're okay?
A little late.
Monday through Wednesday.
Call a question?
Well, wait, she's still talking. I know that's how they-
Yeah, they're a little bit late, not shockingly late.
How
Yeah.
late is, I don't have a copy. How late is?
Do we know?
12 a.m. Monday through Wednesday.
And I know soccer and movies, but how late is the bar open downstairs?
At the movie theater,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe
How late
it's
is the
later.
movie theater? They'll open pretty late.
I think it's later than,
I think it's later.
But I mean, so just. the
But
only
it's a
people
different
that
venue.
Yeah.
55 Liberty.
It's real Liberty.
They might have more events during the week than they have on Sunday, so.
This is adult soccer? They're not that close.
That's 60% youth.
Yeah, 60% youth, 20 to 25% adult, and 10 to 15% is food and beverage. What's
And just to clarify, like late at night, this is not gonna be a place where people are coming just to drink. It's gonna be a league game ends at 11, which might happen. People work late in New York.
So mostly leagues and not so much like buyouts and big events.
No, it's mostly leagues and regular rental, so part of our business is really to open the game to everybody, so a group of friends can just rent the field for an hour, come and play,
Did we
maybe
talk,
get a beer after.
did we talk about when they come out? I'm sorry, I came in late, so I'm sorry. So I heard soccer and I heard leagues and I heard 28 Liberty. When they come out, are they going to be making a lot of noise after roar,
Absolutely not, it's a very small.
Because you're gonna make sure
location
they don't,
compared to
right?
What we have, for example, in Brooklyn is
Okay.
10 field, this one is only 3, it's not going to be a lot.
Okay, because a block away, there are people living.
So I have two questions. What I don't know is the capacity. What's the population? It says, I know it's the liquor book, it says totality. How many people can you
You know
hold?
what the legal capacity is gonna be at least the event?
I think it's around 150, but I'm not 100% sure.
In the cafe area.
I know, in the cafe is much less.
Oh, sir, it says you have 34 seats.
Yeah,
I got it, no.
In the cafe is around like 20, 30.
Yeah,
30 people.
but I just, to answer Pat's question in relationship to when people come out on the street.
Yeah.
That's what we're concerned about. Hello, Mark.
I think there will be somewhat limited by the elevators also. They're gonna have to take the elevators up. So there can only be, I don't know what the capacity of an elevator is, but let's say 10 people. So it's not like everyone's gonna be leaving at the same time.
And again, the large majority of our business is toward youth. So it's like parents that will buy a beer while their kids are playing or during birthday party or that's the large majority of the business. So at the side is.
Can you give my question? Okay, we changed the Sunday till 10, and, 150 capacity. Do you, when you rent out, do you have events? I mean, do people come and watch soccer events in Australia and wherever, and how many do you have?
So the type of events we have the most are corporate events and there are more weekdays during the day, like during the office hours. It's usually like the company that rent the space, play a few games and maybe use the bar.
Can you only drink in the bar area? I'm assuming you
Yes.
drink, okay, so there's
That
really
could
only
be in the
34
restaurant, 'cause
people.
there is only,
You cannot, because we have, I mean, again, we're mostly kids, so you
Right.
cannot have adults who are walking around with drink. The drinking is in the bar.
The street is wide, there's.
Call a question?
Can I ask a quick question? I'm sorry, I was late.
Yeah.
These are the liquor serving hours, right?
yeah, we changed them.
Okay, but now, what about, it was kind of alluded to, what about, overseas games that start at 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, or things like
Play
that?
that and it will not be.
Will you be open for those, not serving liquor?
I don't think so. I can't.
That's what I don't think so, that worries me.
It never happened in any of our location.
Yeah.
I mean, no, we cannot, because in our operation, we close at 2 AM. Close. So if there is a game at 4, it will be completely
I
closed.
mean,
So we'll put it in the rest.
Yeah,
We'll put it in. We want.
Okay.
If they're not serving liquor, they can conceivably open, but that could be a ruckus of supporters.
yeah, realistically, I mean, like I said, most people are not gathering.
Oh, I know.
They're just playing. They're.
Make honorable mention of that.
Because it's important.
So we have
Okay.
a
Good
call
luck.
to question.
Second.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Everybody? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. When do you think you'll open?
And we hope to be open before the summer 2025.
Okay. Oh, that's sooner than we think.
It will be.
Mitch. Mitch.
Mitch and George.
At the end, Nick.
Mitch and who's next to you?
Eric.
Oh.
Eric.
Can't see. She couldn't see.
I'll share my agenda. I don't have an agenda.
All right.
Where's an
You
agenda?
don't, no, you need it, you're the chair.
Francis. Yeah, you can take it.
Anybody?
Take it.
Oh, she's chair.
Okay, here.
You sure?
Maybe I'll share with Frank.
All right.
Okay, so the next one is 48 Wall Street. They have a presentation. Barbara, you gonna read it?
Yeah.
Okay. They had a very nice, what do you want to call it, reception yesterday. And I had a cast of thousands there. Joe went, I went, and Eric and his wife went. And they made a presentation and they're here to do it tonight. So, I'm gonna let them speak. And just so you understand where it is, because we didn't go in because there was an event last night. It's where the old currency change used to be. And I don't know whether any of you remember it, but it's an old bank building and it's got an entrance and a mezzanine. And so when he's explaining, the gentleman who will explain after Barbara of what they're presenting, what they're giving out, there is a concept, okay? So, go.
I'll let Simon Painter, who's the creator and producer of the show, do most of the talking, but I just wanted to introduce Shannon Ferguson, who's the Chief Hospitality Officer, Drew, who's with our architects, and then Jesse, who is the Senior Director. Simon is the brains, the creator, so we'll let him talk. But this is, as Susan mentioned, the former currency museum. Prior to that, it was Bank of New York.
So you're going from France to England with me. But, so I'm a commercial theatre producer. I specialize in what we call the 3G of entertainment, which is 3 generations of a family watching a show together. I was Cirque du Soleil for the last 5 years, one of their lead producers, and I've produced shows on Broadway, in Sydney, across the world, big magic shows and circus shows, musicals, plays. I'm basically a theatrical impresario and show producer. And this concept is a show that is called Cirque Empire, set in 1925. And we've been looking for a venue for quite some time to do a concept like this. In 48 Wall Street, we were introduced to it, and it's about the only venue I've ever seen in New York that is perfect for the concept because the era is perfect, and also the ceiling height inside the bank is actually perfect to put on a Cirque show with aerialists flying up in the air and what have you. And the concept is it's 1925. It's the bank has been inherited by a son. And he wants to put on, rather than make it a bank, he wants to put on an extravagant Cirque show with the most amazing artists from around the world. So this is essentially a very upscale, very beautiful, elegant Cirque show, 550 seats in the round. And it will have artists, about 25 artists from probably about 15 countries, from Mongolia and India and China and Brazil, Colombia and Europe, and everywhere in between. When you come into the showroom, it's very strategic how we put on a show. What I hate when shows happen, and I'm sure you experience this here in New York, is then you get a huge queue outside the building before the show, and same thing after the show. This is a very staggered entry because there's a pre-show that happens prior to the show where you get to meet all the characters from 1925 that permeate the bar and the areas around the show. So you come in staggered, like about an hour before the show, till about 15 minutes before. And then the show itself is about 70, 80 minutes long, straight through. And it's a big extravagant Cirque show like you'd see in Las Vegas, that type of show, but it's quite upscale. And it's suitable really from anyone between the ages of about 10 and 100. So it's quite a large range of the audience, but it's not vulgar in any way. It's very sort of family friendly. Think of this historically a bit like if Hamilton put on a circus, that is what this would be. And the venue itself really is the only place I've ever seen in New York that is suitable for something like this due to the scale of the building, the fact that the ceiling height is as high as it is. That's what we intend to do with it, and we're very excited about bringing live entertainment down into the financial district in New York. It's a very exciting prospect to us to kind of open this part of the city up to first-class family entertainment. So that in a nutshell is what we are trying to do.
As you'll see in the back of the packet, there is a security report done by our security consultant, Pat, who's joined us, as well as a traffic report, done by Sam Schwartz's office.
So think Cirque du Soleil, that those of you who have ever seen it, rather than a circus. Okay, just so you understand the concept. And I think that, I'm gonna let my committee ask questions. For us, it's the third, it's the third venue large venue downtown. And the concerns which I expressed last night when I went are, well, there are a couple of things on the hours, but also, the traffic control, controlling with Cipriani, cars, pick off, drop off, all of those things. And the issue is, it's not just Wall Street where there's nobody living right there. It's the surrounding neighborhood where just spill over it. So those are the concerns that I,
So we don't need to say anything, because you've expressed them.
pardon me?
We don't need to say anything, you've expressed them.
Okay, well, so here we are.
Yeah, we've had our traffic consultant observe during peak times for the other shows around, and he's made quite a few recommendations about how we can educate our patrons through the website about how to arrive. We have to be right in front of the 2-3 stop. In addition, they've made recommendations about staggering and locating Uber and Lyft locations, so they don't impact the residential community as much. So that if someone were to call a car from 48 Wall, it would direct you to walk to a certain point. We also, in consultation with our security company that we consulted with, they've made recommendations about the number of folks we should have during the entry and the exit times, so that we don't have cars lingering or staggered and around. So we're doing what we can with security and traffic and taking all the recommendations under consideration and adopting them as well.
And Barbara, you've had a conversation with Cipriani.
Yes, we have,
So
and
y'all
we
work
also
together.
chatted with Susan about coordinating trash and food deliveries with them, since they'll probably be the same vendors, so that it's only one, it's whatever the community is experiencing now, they'll continue to experience, they'll just be dropping to the left and to the right.
So you already asked them to use, if they can, the same, good,
Yeah,
thank you,
and
thank
it should be, it'll be in our stipulation, but I think that what you talked about last night, which you should raise here and explain to everybody, is that they don't expect queuing outside. Go for it.
So if you look at the plan, the ground floor the show is on the mezz level, so the ground floor is ample space to hold folks who come in. And again, we have feathered entries, so depending on the ticket level you purchase, you come in at a certain time. There's a range of time that you can enter. So it's not all attendees arriving at the same time. And similarly, as you exit, there are the folks who just want to leave and beat the crowd, let their babysitters go home. Then there are people who want to linger and have another cocktail. So based on the performance at other locations, we don't anticipate everyone arriving at once or everyone leaving at once. And we'll have mechanisms in place for that.
What is this event queue to be on Wall Street, main entrance?
If there's a reason for queuing, if people arrive well before, which it's not like a GA concert, right? Like general attendance. It's the mezz is interactive. So there's no like first come, best seat option. So we don't anticipate that. I think folks will come when they're supposed to come, go into the grand foyer or entryway before the show begins upstairs. So we just asked the security company to let us know what queuing would look like and what their recommendations are, should that ever happen, but we don't anticipate it. And I was observing the event that was there last night and there was no queuing. They were set up for queuing, but there wasn't any.
Were there people outside directing patrons? where to
Yes.
go? And there'll be people outside? now?
Yes.
And what are you gonna do about smoking?
We could put the signs up saying no smoking, and we could have our security guards indicate that there can be no smoking in front of the
Right.
premises.
People still smoke.
Unfortunately, I'm a former smoker.
So if
So
someone wanted to come early and have a cocktail before the
They
show?
could, we
is
would
that-
open our doors at a reasonable time before the show.
So in terms of the staggered
Yeah.
amount of people, that's.
Right.
Yeah, because there's,
Busy.
there's bar on the ground level, but again, with respect to the tickets, the plan is to have like, okay, you bought premium tickets, you can arrive X to X, in this window. Or you purchased, the general ticket, you'll arrive 15 minutes before the show. And so,
The way I understand it, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, the average ticket is $100. That doesn't include food or any of the VIP snacks. I don't know what the cheapest ticket is, but it seems to be 100.
The average ticket price is about $100, which is slightly underneath what a Broadway show would be.
Is this for one show? On the evening? I'm trying to get the concept of the hours here. Is there a couple of shows a night, one show?
It's 2 nights a week, there's no shows. And then Wednesday, Thursday, it's 1 show a night. Friday, it'd be 2 shows. Wednesday, you'd have a matinee, which is popular with people like my children. And then an early evening, then a later evening. And then on Sunday, you'd have 2 or 3, depending on demand and time of year as well.
so anywhere between 1 to 4 shows a night, 4 being the max, and would probably be like on a holiday weekend on a Saturday versus 3 being the max normally on a weekend.
And when would the last show close?
The anticipated last time for the latest show is Saturday night. The show's 10 o'clock, and you say it runs about 90 minutes, so 11:30. So we're looking at midnight, 1 a.m. departures.
And no one, if I don't have a ticket, I can't go in and have a drink, correct?
Definitely not.
Although I might want to.
So the Sunday is a no-go. What AM? I'll let my committee tell you what the hour is. Gabby?
10 p.m.
What was your last show and on Sundays? That same,
There is a possibility of a 10 p.m. on a Sunday. It doesn't look likely, but even if we had a 7 p.m. show,
Sundays before holidays would be something we can talk about, but typically at 10 p.m. and on Sundays.
We want you out by 10:30. No last show at 10
Yeah.
on a Sunday.
no. I'll have to confer with the applicant about it because
Yes.
that's far earlier than we anticipated. Would you be still amenable to 1 a.m. Monday through Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday through Saturday?
I have to ask
I
them.
mean, we need the flexibility for in case there's a private event. It's hard to,
How many private events do you anticipate having?
it's not gonna be like a regular, it'd be probably like holiday season. I don't know how many you can approximate, but
We always like to have
How
a
many do
firm
you
number in
anticipate?
place.
how many do you anticipate a private buyout?
It's very hard to tell. Not that many.
Well,
Is there a recommendation? Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a recommendation that you want us to stipulate to, let us know.
I would think
We were doing 1 a month.
One
and
One
then
a
we
month.
said you can
We're
gang them
allowing
up
you
in
1 a month.
holiday.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
my
want to
only
do
through the
3
holidays.
at Christmas, you can do
Yeah.
3.
you
Okay.
can see it.
So it's 12 for the year,
Right.
perhaps, okay? And you may not have any in the summer, you may, or blah, 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 but no more than that. At least let's see how it runs.
Can we start with that? and then see?
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's what
If
we
you see
say.
if there's.
We're not that bad.
Yeah. We can always come back.
This way.
and chat with you.
You absolutely know that.
So,
And the buyouts would be subject to the same time restrictions?
yes.
I'm a little dubious of the no queuing conclusion. When Schramm Schwartz company, he's like a gun for hire, so put in anything. And this rendering here, it notes like a food truck across the street and velvet ropes and cones in the street. Is this,
That's a brand.
That's it.
is that Cipriani's?
It
Okay.
exists right now.
So that's next door to you, right?
Across the street.
Across the street, okay, alright. So that's, all right, so that's not a rendering, that's a photo.
That's fine.
That's what I just wanted to check, okay. All right, so I don't know how anyone would conclude that there wouldn't be any traffic issues.
Well,
Well, I know how, they got paid to do it, but. But,
since I live
yeah,
down there
yeah.
and I see it. What Cipriani has done, Andrew's not there anymore, but the new guy Craig is. And, what they have done is I call up, or Joe calls up and we complain if they don't have a traffic person down all the way at William and Pearl, all the way through to Wall Street. So it moves, and it does move, and we're trying to keep honking down and whatever. But we have Submersive, which is a different set, but you know, it's 3 venues down there. I want you to all understand. But I don't know what you do with these old bank buildings. You try to be creative and set it up. And they're not bad venues and, I must say, I'm anticipating that they will be good neighbors and if they're willing to try the hours. So the real issue is, do you want to go from Friday and Saturday to 2 AM?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday would be.
No. The first year, no.
No,
That's true, I'm
No,
not.
the first year, no, when come back.
We don't do it for anyone else.
Cause we have to take into consideration the traffic and
So 1,
the, yeah.
1 AM, Thursday through
We feel
Saturday.
about that. What, I guess we gotta compare it to the other venues and. Yeah.
well, Cipriani, how late do you close, Craig?
How late?
Yeah, usually at a venue. You don't close at 2, do you?
Sometimes.
Some,
Not often.
That's what we're hoping for too, just the flexibility. I mean, if you look at the run of show, it's unlikely, but to,
why don't we do 1? Let's do 1, and let's see how you go.
okay,
And
so,
if it works, you'll come back in 6, we'll look at you in 6 months.
yeah, so 1 would be for
Thursday to Saturday,
Saturday.
Sunday still 10.
Sunday still 10.
Is there any flexibility there? Could it be
Not, no,
11?
Before a holiday.
before a holiday.
Before
Absolutely.
holiday can be
Saturday hours.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday hours. That's clearly stipulated too, that's.
And what
Yeah,
time was
pretty
the back with the matinee start?
Two-ish.
Two-ish. Not before
It looks like on holiday Saturdays, holiday weekend Saturdays, there may be a 10 AM show
Okay.
for the younger crowd, so.
We gave you Monday to, you're closed Monday,
Closed Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesdays, right?
At the moment we are, yeah, I mean,
Well, let's put it in, so am I giving you, are we giving you hours Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to 1?
I think in the holidays, we would like, I mean, upon success, we'd like to be open Tuesday. The reason we're not is because we want to be modest with our expectations.
But it would be the
about
same hour. so.
Yeah,
I also don't want to say that we're not open, just because we're not shows on Mondays and Tuesdays. I mean, those might be the days that we do the events, so they don't impede the shows. So we are going to be a 7-day a week
I got it.
operation.
So the question for everybody is, we're clear at 10 PM on Sunday,
Yes,
and so the rest of the time, we would give them till 1,
right.
okay?
And 6 months they can come back and.
We'll see, we won't give you 7 days till 2, trust me, but we certainly should be more flexible.
Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
I-
so 12 buyouts a year, Wednesday to Saturday, 1 AM,
Yeah.
Sunday, 10 PM.
Yeah,
Sorry, 12 buyouts, but you said you'd have flexibility around them.
yeah.
Right,
Do 3 and.
And we're going to be,
Also, they said-
I don't want to exclude Monday and Tuesday.
Right, that's what I said. They said they
Right,
might
yeah.
do Monday, and Tuesday
Alright.
for buyout.
Thank you.
And Sunday before a holiday, Saturday hours.
Okay, which is 1 AM.
Olive, Karen,
yeah, on the, large venue step, the hours for, garbage collection and delivery are just TBD. Can we
Right,
get that?
well, we're a year, more than a year away from opening, so we agreed at our meeting last night that we would coordinate with Cipriani's across the street to limit the number of deliveries and trash pickups.
Well, that can be reflected.
yeah, we'll reflect it.
Yeah.
Ms. Grillo,
I'm so grateful that you are giving this building a new life because we have not saved enough of the beautiful architecture that's down here. I hope that you consider the younger people that have access to this. The adults are being taken care of, and that's great. But I was looking at this thing about the casino and the roulette and blackjack and the poker and all that. When you have these earlier events for the kids, do you do a different sort of presentation?
it's simulated gambling, it's not gambling. It's
Oh.
part
It's
of
like
the,
actors
it's,
pretending.
yeah, I mean, you get given, some customers get given
I think the kids would love it, I'm
fake
just
money
saying,
and they get to
I
pretend
just-
they're gambling, so.
I would like more of it, is what
Oh.
I'm saying. I'm not criticizing it, I'm saying that I hope we have more things for teenagers and kids, because there's very little
So it-
for young
it-
kids to
It
do.
really is a family show. Now, it's elevated. I mean, it's not like a sawdusty circus. It's a very sort of elevated cirque show. I mean, we're spending a fortune to make it very beautiful.
And there are no prices for children.
I was gonna, yeah, and 30 under 30 and seniors.
Well, I mean, it works out to be, the average ticket price works out to be 100. So that's sort of, you know, there's lower prices than that and there's much higher prices
Higher,
than
well,
that.
you get
Which-
sushi if it's higher.
Yeah.
If you go, if you look at theater prices, I mean,
I listen.
Let's go to TV, yeah.
But I hope you do more things.
All right, Mark.
That was kind of my question about the gambling.
It's,
What do you mean it's simulating? Can you be more descriptive on that?
There's no real money in it.
there's no money.
The actors are pretending to be at the roulette, I mean,
So,
performing.
so patrons are not participating.
Patrons can participate if they're part of that game. They get given fake bank money to play with, but there's always
It's
an
not real
actor
money.
there. They're not winning anything because we're not a casino. But we're trying to make it part of the storyline. Well, it's meant to be really fun, and you go in and there's lots of things. There's gonna be a close-up magic show. There'll be actors walking around pretending to be Albert Einstein, teaching you how to play pool at theory of relativity. There'll be probably 10 activations, some of which will be Babe Ruth at a blackjack table losing all his money.
It doesn't mention any of that in the description, what you just said, so.
We'll
we should
put it in.
Probably be a little more
Well, but
clearer.
it's like, it's very much, I don't know whether any of you have seen Cirque du Soleil. It's,
We
I
have,
think
we love
it's
it.
akin.
I just produced the last Cirque du Soleil show, so I'm quite familiar with it. But it's very similar to that. It's just happens to be put into a building that's really perfect for it. So normally we have to spend $50 million making a building that looks like this. We're very lucky with this one because it already looks like a $50 million building. So, which is why we chose it.
We also have Drew, who specializes in landmark preservations, is very specifically to conserve.
Mitch, last question.
Sure, if you could just go to the security assessment report on page 6, and I'm let me preface this by saying I'm for the venue, I think it's a wonderful thing. I just wanna make, is on the third paragraph, we're talking about the food truck that they feel that, or at least the corporation feels that it might create some undue custom queuing for the venue. So they're requesting us to have the food truck relocated. So the only thing I have, I'm not, I would just hate for them to be bullied to a location that might not be as lucrative as what they have now. So if there's something, where the location, if they are relocated, it needs to be at a.
It's not us.
No, it's
No,
not,
but,
yeah.
no, but I'm saying, okay, so then, and take that, because as it is recommended that a request be made to the community board, one, to have the truck relocated.
Well, we
It's
can-
recommended, but it doesn't necessarily.
So then I'm against that, but I'm for everything else. So,
We will, yeah, Department of Sanitation, and they're gonna work it out.
Okay.
Take it out.
Could we
But I'm
possibly
all
have
for it.
more buyouts?
Yeah.
I was just calculating. the-
12?
Yeah,
They
is there any
negotiate
room
with
for
Stockton.
additional?
Start with 12.
Start with 12 and then come back after.
Yeah, you wanna see how this works out.
All right.
I mean, understanding that we've got to see the impact on the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope you're successful. We want you to be, and we want to be able to live there. That's really the bottom line for us.
Well, we want this to be a win-win. I mean,
But that we all
the
do.
community don't love it. It's pointless being it, so.
So, any others?
Call the question? Second.
All in favor? Mark, you're gonna abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. I know, Mike. I know what. Thank you.
Make it clear, give it a clear cut.
Goodbye. You want to do it next? Okay. They'll be at the last. All right, well, before we do Maxwell, Mr. Benvenuto? Okay, come on up. Francis is very concerned. So I want to make sure she's happy.
I'm very concerned that you have an excellent proposal.
Yeah, so, my name is, Vasilios Malis from Benvenuto, and I'm just here because we are renewing our sidewalk cafe. We've been open since 2009, and since then, we've had the sidewalk cafe. The layout has changed, same seating arrangement basically, and, after COVID and all the sidewalk stuff got changed, and now we have to re-apply for it, so that's why I'm here.
You don't, there's nothing else. Any questions?
You have sidewalk access, it's pretty simple.
Yes, there's a lot of room to walk by.
Duran? Mark?
No, around the corner. No.
Call the question.
Oh, second.
Susan, I had a question. It's Alice.
Oh, yep.
Hi, thanks. I just wanted to ask what the modification was on this. Great cafe, great to sit outside. I just was curious. What did you not just have seats previously just in front, and now you have it on the side? Is that the difference?
No, we've always had it on the side.
Oh.
We just weren't allowed to, like, sign off on a renewal. We had to submit new plans and everything.
So
But,
previously you had a sign off for an outdoor cafe that wrapped the whole, both facades. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's not all the way to the, the Franklin side. It's, halfway, about half, a little more than
There's a
halfway.
door there.
You don't have partition.
Great, thank you.
No. That's the Greenwich side. That's the Franklin side. There are those two benches.
And there's plenty of sidewalk room, all of it, yeah. Yeah. Okay, any questions?
Call the question.
Second.
All in favor? Go to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, Maxwell.
Okay, so I just want to preface this, and then Francis is gonna run this. There are community members here, okay, I want to make sure. So we have heard from the community on Maxwell's, they are up for a renewal in December when they will come back for the renewal. This is their time to present to us because we've had numerous complaints and we have their stipulation as of July 21, am I correct? And they have been, what's the word I'm looking for? They haven't kept to the stipulations. And that has been the community complaint. So this is their time to speak to us. And I want to limit this discussion, and I'm gonna let Francis do it, but I want it to last no more than 30 minutes. I want everybody to be clear. So go to it.
Can you tell us what the complaints were first?
Oh, you weren't here at the last meeting?
No.
Okay, well, there were noise, smoking, disregard for the community, the neighbors upstairs complaining, and on and on and on, okay?
Numerous.
And the neighborhood as well as the building residents. I want to be very clear, okay? So
Thanks.
Francis.
So,
It used to be a plot, remember I told you, there was a nice quiet part in North Tribeca? Not anymore.
Okay,
No, but.
yeah, so, for those of you in the room that are gonna come up for renewals, this is what it's gonna look like. Every 2 years, we have to go through renewals, and like Susan said, yours is coming up in December, but because there was a, bit of, misunderstanding, confusion, something was not written correctly in the last stipulation, you've been able to operate under those times that were, written in that stipulation in 2021. So now that you're up for renewal, we have to go back to the drawing board and start from scratch in terms of evaluating your renewal for the next coming years and based on the complaints, which we'll hear later.
So I'm Donald Bernstein, I'm counsel for Maxwell Social, my colleague here, David is going to speak to you and address some of the complaints, but I want to first address this issue of hours. There was no mistake. When we presented this years ago, we made very clear what our hours were.
Okay.
When we talked about.
And
I just want to correct it for the record.
it's there, and that's what we had, and you've been operating from that point on.
I just want to clarify. It's important.
Absolutely,
This is
you know,
what
that's what it
applies.
was on the paper, you got it, you did it.
Well, we got it because that's what the committee approved. When we had asked for 10-11 for the outdoor space, when we got the first stipulation, it said 10-11 for everything. I spoke to, was it Jennifer?
Jennifer,
That doesn't,
that's why.
that doesn't,
Donald,
we don't need that information,
Okay.
basically, because we need to move forward.
Fine, I just want to be clear.
no, we're not fighting that. We're doing the one AM, but you've been egregious with the one AM, okay?
No, those issues, they don't talk about. I just want.
No, I don't want to go back.
No problem.
That's Francis'
Okay, so
point.
we're up for, so we can do it now?
Yep. I think we just want to hear from you and addressing the comments from previous meetings and just kind of hear from your perspective.
So yeah, sorry, like, please excuse me for not standing on my computer. Myself, I'm here, Gal, if we could hand out the various, presentation materials, I suppose. We have 28 letters of support from community members, many of whom are members of the club, not all of them. And so Gal's also handing out, images of some of the events that I'll get to. And also on the last page, a sample email of the kind of conditions we've been having to deal with. But, I'll start from the beginning. So, to introduce myself, my name is David Litwack. I'm the founder and CEO of Maxwell Social. I appeared before you guys 3 years ago when we voted to approve our application for this members club. So 2 months ago, it was brought to my attention that certain members of the community who had complaints about our business had been invited to appear at the board meeting in September 11th to voice complaints and concerns about Maxwell. From what I saw and read, their agenda was to have you try to support them and to get our liquor license revoked. I'm aware that this board even wrote a letter to the New York State Liquor Authority, unfortunately, without even speaking with us or hearing what we have to say, and to address any of the complaints. And so while that's unfortunate, I nevertheless appreciate the opportunity to address those issues now. So I want to first start by acknowledging that we've not been perfect by any means. In the launch of our club, there are some things that went wrong. We went through several contractors just building it. And as first-time hospitality operators, we had growing campaigns and building a management team that can frankly deal with the complexity of what quickly became a popular luxury social space in a, admittedly, as you point out, quiet neighborhood. We made some mistakes, but at every opportunity when confronted with a problem that needed a solution, we did seek to work with community members and building members to solve problems. We've been in touch with the residents across the street, changing security companies, closing protocols, and even offering to pay for noise proofing the windows in order to solve crowd noise problems. And I'm happy to say we have largely solved our street crowd noise issues. But being a good neighbor should be a two-way street. Joan, who was the main person who spoke against us 2 months ago, and with her, our building has stymied the effort to work with the building to solve issues at every turn. The building is also wildly misrepresenting our conduct, painting us as a nightclub and careless owners who have not made any effort to solve any problems that come up. Contrary to what you've heard, the main problem has never been music, but conversational noise. As Joan has admitted, she can hear the entire conversations through the pipes, and that this problem did not originate with us. Lucy, who I'm sure will speak tonight, the woman who lives directly above us right here to my right, has said she could hear full conversations for her entire time living in this building with both the past tenants. If the music was blasting as they've complained to you, they wouldn't be hearing conversations in our space. If there's a noise issue, putting aside whether it's music or voices, we want to be part of the solution. Towards that end, we have proposed spending $300,000 to soundproof our ceilings and exposed columns. A significant expense and undertaking for the benefit of all. Months ago, we proposed this to the building and sought their approval so we could do this work. However, instead of working with us, the building has so far refused to approve it. This community board doesn't know me, so I'll give you a little background. I started my high school's robotics team. I have a degree in electrical engineering and computer science from UC Berkeley. I took ballet when I was little. I almost became a classical trumpet player out of high school when I used to practice 5 hours a day. I'm a nerd. And the last 2 weeks of October, and these are the photos you've been given, We hosted a live taping of NYU professor Scott Galloway's Raging Moderates podcast, a fireside chat with open debate and Nate Silver on the upcoming election, a book club with the Free Press, an event on the future of higher education with the Startup University of Austin, and the book launch for a biography about the civil rights pioneer John Lewis and more. This was literally 2 weeks of intellectual programming at Maxwell. And yes, we had a Shabbat that Friday that members invited their friends over and we had breaks until 1. We have hosted over 80 Jewish events, Shabbats, fundraisers, and more post October 7th, and we become known in the Jewish community as a safe space for Jews. We've hosted both Senator Booker and Senator Chris Murphy and many more. Images of all these gatherings are in the packet we distributed tonight. Excuse me. As you can see, this is not a nightclub. Joan painted you a picture by cherry picking a few things that, yes, went wrong and ignoring all the good we've done for the community. Yes, one night she did have to come down in her nightgown. What she admits is how we messaged her husband to apologize, stayed up all night on Thanksgiving to order soundproofing equipment, cleared our schedules, begged her to let us into her home to do noise testing, which she refused to allow for a week while she challenged the 11 p.m. versus 1 a.m. Validity of her liquor license, bought a $1,000 limiter to literally limit and kill base frequencies, and cleared our schedules to solve her problem. All this while Joan just called the cops on us. These music limiter settings have been in place ever since. The building has presented us as not caring about solving this problem, but we solved Joan's issue within 24 hours when we were given the chance. But this has not stopped the building. They told you at the September meeting that we've been investigated by the DOB, the FDNY, and the SLA, as if these departments had somehow decided to come check us out on their own. They did not. Joan has continually reported us time and time again. Despite this, they have not found any violations aside from an issue with the placement of our fire extinguishers and an error in our hood, both of which were quickly remedied. Joan asserts the FDNY verified we were using the basement, but in this email accusing of this, she copy and pastes the email from the FDNY that literally says, and I have the last email in the final packet for you. It's literally highlighted. She says at the top that we use it, and at the bottom she copy and pastes the FDNY email that literally says we checked out the basement, it was not being used. I was shocked that she literally included an email with the rebuttal there, but that is what we've been dealing with. So, now we've installed noise limiters and done extensive testing, but you can't literally limit people's voices. Lucy, directly above us, can still hear full conversations, and we frankly can hear the dial tone from her phones when she is on speaker. And, this is a structural problem, not a behavioral problem, which brings me to my final point. The very people we hear complaining about noise have done everything in their power to stop us from solving the problem. It took us 10 months to do initial noise testing because the building didn't allow us into any of the upper apartments. In May, we put our proposal to legalize our basement in front of the building. Legalizing our basement would allow us to move more noise 2 floors away from any other tenants and shut down rooms earlier that might affect the second floor later at night. It was never considered, even though at the time we verbally offered to include additional noise proofing between Lucy's floor and ours in that original proposal if they liked, but they never considered the proposal. In September, we submitted revised proposals that included the noise mitigation between floors 1 and 2 to the code board, and that would have us pay over $300,000 to drop our ceilings, legalize our basement, and create a box within a box, noise-proof room in the basement. We received no response for months. We separately have a repair of a duct pending with the board, just a repair, and we went through all the proper channels, even getting paperwork for landmarks, despite the fact that it's literally replacement in kind, to make sure we were 100% above board. This has also not been addressed. Now here's the kicker. The co-op board was supposed to take up both our proposals 4 weeks ago, but hours before the board had said to me, they decided there was a more urgent issue we had to solve before they could possibly look at our proposals. They wanted to double check the basement excavation we did 2.5 years ago, something they had never brought up. We said, okay, and agreed to foot the bill, but when our landlord checked on the progress of the engineer last week, they said there were now several other things in the priority queue ahead of that, including cleaning out some pipes and repainting the front area of the building. The level of bad faith here is just egregious. The building has figured out every possible way not to consider a solution to the problem. To steal a phrase from politics, they decided to run on the issue instead of solve the issue. I'll be the first to admit there have been issues, and Jonathan talks about having lost trust. I mentioned some of our growing pains at the beginning of this letter, and I'll emphasize again our role in that. There were issues that Jonathan and the building have every right to be frustrated with. But the building is not without fault. Our basement was flooded 3 times over a 1.5 years while the building continually ignored our pleas to fix it, among many, many, many other issues. Trust has been broken on both sides. We've attempted to move on, find ways to work together. Past issues with each other does not give any of us an excuse to decide not to work together. But at every stage, the building can't conceive of a world in which we cured anything going wrong and are operating legally and can still hear some noise because the building just simply needs an upgrade. In their mind, we must be misbehaving. Sorry, spits here. I want to mention one last thing. Last time Joan was in town about a month ago, she gave the rest of the building tenants a play-by-play via email of her every night there that week, and I want to read you one paragraph out loud. On Monday, October 7th, Maxwell was quiet. I assumed there was no event, but when I walked down Washington Street, I could see a group of people sitting quietly. The reason I mention this is to point out that it is possible for there to be events that do not generate much noise and that do not disturb residents and neighbors. Perhaps Maxwell could host meditation sessions. Now, we were not in fact hosting a meditation on October 7th. We were holding a memorial for those who were massacred in the tragedy in Israel a year prior. But it really illustrates the absurd standards we're held to here. Joan's standards of quiet are literally memorial service and or meditation session. I'm sorry that she dragged you guys into the community board into this, and this wasted so much time. But I hope we'll help them see that the best way forward here is to stop the acrimonious arguing and work together. Thank you for your time. We also have our landlord, who's I think called in, and our landlord's lawyer, and also a member to speak on our behalf as well.
Thank you. Can we hear from, we have any people on
Robert Finkelstein is the board, that's for anyone.
any members from the community here?
Well, do the rest of your members of your team want to
Yes,
speak?
exactly.
Yeah.
I love it if Robert spoke, Kathy spoke, our landlord's
Yeah.
lawyer and landlord, and perhaps Bennett as well.
Remember, we have 20 minutes.
Robert Finkelstein and Kathy Capsuto.
Remember, for those of you who don't remember, this was Capsuto's. And a very beloved place for all of us, as we're both brothers.
Okay. Is Robert going to speak first, or you want me to speak first? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Kathy.
You can hear me. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak at this meeting. I am a board member of the Washington Bistro Corporation and one of the primary leaseholders of the ground floor where Maxwell Social holds a sublease. My family operated one of the first restaurants in Tribeca, Capsuto Freres, in that space for 32 years, and we held a 4 a.m. liquor license. We had bar mitzvahs, weddings, brisses, memorials, corporate events, holiday parties, and etc., in addition to running a restaurant every day. Conversation, kitchen noise, and music could be heard by the tenants since the beginning of the co-op. My brother-in-law, Albert Capsuto, was a member of the community board, and he was actively involved in shaping the neighborhood zoning, which includes mixed-use buildings. When we sublet to our first ever subtenant after being devastated by Hurricane Sandy, China Blue, their restaurant had buses of tourists regularly attending luncheons and dinners, as well as a fashion show and other events allowed by their lease. You should know that all 6 members of the co-op were asked to approve our sublease to Maxwell Social. Several meetings between the members and Maxwell were arranged and were overwhelmingly approved of a private social club occupying the ground floor. Every provision of Maxwell lease was approved by the co-op and the co-op's attorney. They were completely transparent about being a members-only social club. Their intent is clear in the lease, and I quote the lease: "The permitted uses, subtenant may utilize the premises for the purpose of a private social club, permit to prepare and serve food and beverages, including alcohol, performance of live or recorded music, photography and filming, recording of live events, subject to the subtenant's ability to obtain all necessary license. Subtenant shall be permitted to have access to the premises 24 hours a day, each day of the year." As a result of complaints of a few co-op members, the board was recently asked by the building manager at the suggestion of one of the community board 1 members for a vote to present a united voice in opposition to Maxwell's liquor license. The vote was not unanimous. Myself and others voted against the action. Not all the cooperators agree with the grievances presented at the last meeting, and it would be wrong to represent otherwise. The second floor tenant, who lives directly above Maxwell and is a full-time resident, is adamantly opposed to such action and has repeatedly reported to me that he has a very cordial relationship with Maxwell and they have been responsive to all his concerns. I did not attend the last meeting because I was not informed of the meeting, even though I was a board member. Nor was I aware that a representative of Washington, B.C. was in attendance at the meeting representing when a resident presented the grievances to the community board. That representative noted that compromise was possible, which I believe is the only sane option. I was only notified of his and others' attendance days later when Maxwell was requested to reply in person at this meeting. I wear two hats in this issue. I am a major shareholder representing 2/7 of the building. I am very invested in the smooth operation of the building, and I am concerned for the well-being of my fellow cooperators. And I believe that lawsuits are not in the best interest of the building when a compromise is the reasonable way forward. It's a small building, and I have considered them as my neighbors. I am also Maxwell's landlord. They seem to be conflicting roles, but I am able to address the issues separately. I will be the first to admit that Maxwell had a very rocky start, beginning with construction. I and Capsuto's manager, Robert Finkelstein, had many lengthy communications with them to make corrections. They do take complaints seriously and have made adjustments to work with the building through the building's manager, Jonathan Bernstein. They have made significant investment in time and money, and I'm convinced they are earnest in continuing to make corrections, as evidenced by the extensive proposed work that the co-op board has failed to address. As a shareholder and a board member, I see that some of the proposed work will directly benefit the building by providing fire exit from the common basin space, which means that we, Capsuto, are willing to give up square footage for the safety and convenience of the entire co-op. I'm noting this because there is no exit other than an ancient elevator, and people have been trapped in the basement because there's no other way out. The community board represents not only the residents of the district, but also many small businesses that make the neighborhood attractive, safe, and vibrant. I urge that the board take this into account and refrain from making recommendations that would damage a small business. It is a delicate balance where compromise is required. Maxwell has compromised and has proposed extensive work after hiring a sound engineer expert to further compromise. This will affect their business as the work is done, so it is not just the cost of the construction, but the direct loss of income while the work proceeds. I believe the compromise by both parties is only reasonable. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Francis, keep going. Who else do we have?
Robert is also, I think you enabled him to speak.
Can we kind of move this?
Well, let's try to limit all remarks to 2 minutes each.
2 minutes each?
Yeah, please hit I know you have prepared statements, but if you can hit the, salient points.
Right.
And then
Then we can have a discussion.
Yeah, you can
Email us a statement.
You can submit the written statements for the record.
I mean, I we go, if there's anything new to say, that
Right.
can't be done at the board meeting. If we're not, if we're gonna keep talking about compromise and everything, we understand. We don't need
Well, I
to keep
think
talking about
here's,
that.
Robert, if I may, I think here's the salient piece is that since May, we've been proposing, fixing the problem. We literally offered to drop our ceilings, hose down rooms, literally lose 6 inches and spend $300,000. And they haven't even looked at the proposal. That's really just the simple fact of the matter. We're being painted as this intransigent party here, and we're sitting here going, okay, we'll pay almost $500,000 to solve your problem. And we can't even get them to consider it.
Okay.
So,
But I think I'd like Robert to say some stuff too, because he can also give some color about.
all right, I don't,
street building.
we have the color,
He has something different to say? Okay.
but, and I want to give the
Robert.
tenants who are here, a couple of them, a chance to speak. But where I'm coming from right now, and I think all of us, I want everybody to have a chance. You're up for renewal in December. That's why we're doing this now. All right, we want to be fair and clear and see if there can be a compromise. And so you have a month, basically, to come up with something and to, with the residents, and come back to us in December. We're willing to listen. I gave you till 7:15 and I will. But I want you all to understand, this needs a compromise for us to move forward. We're not in the business of putting people out of business. You understand? Or making residents uncomfortable. So there has to be some compromise.
ask you, so what would you have us do differently than what we've done already?
I think you gotta have a meeting. You gotta have somebody to
We've
meet.
actually tried, but they've actually continually pushed us
Well,
out
they
of
have to
meetings.
come, they have to come to grips too with this, and they're hearing it from us, all right? I mean, they're hearing
I
it,
think it'll be helpful if we encourage them, to consider the licensees.
they're here.
To do $300,000 worth of sound.
Okay, so let's hear, let's hear from them.
Are there any complaints of people that don't live in the building?
Well,
Yes,
that's the,
yes.
that there were, when we were here the last time. And there were neighborhood people who complained about the street, the noise, the alcohol, and the smoking. They did do that.
Trina was her, and we've been in since that meeting
Okay,
also.
so-
What
This
noise?
is new info, actually, can I?
Can we hear from the tenants?
We can go away at 12:50, between 12:50 and 1. Maybe it was at 1. People were being forced out onto the street. We trained our security differently. I've been in touch with Trina, and Sarah was the other one, and emailed them every single Friday and Saturday for 3-4 weeks. in a row. And
People told, other people told.
All right.
I just want to say something. We had a whole meeting with residents. We weren't invited. We didn't know about it. This is an chance to respond. Don't cut off my client.
No, we're not interrupting. Okay,
Just did.
please, but they've prolonged my so far.
Right, so far.
All right,
You had to have a-
wait, there are two other people who want to.
Yeah, and I would like to know, Robert, I'd like Robert to speak.
Well, that's fine, but keep it to a couple minutes, Robert, please. Go.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
My name is Robert Finkelstein. I'm an attorney who has, for over 10 years, represented the Capsuto family. And they're the owners of the first floor and basement that's sublet to Maxwell. As you mentioned, they operated Capsuto Ferrer for 30 years. And while they were operating Capsuto Ferrer, they managed the building. And during that time, there were no complaints about noise or odors or anything, despite the fact that they had parties and hosted weddings and various other major events. And they had a liquor license that went till 4 a.m. and most of the parties didn't start until after 10, as is custom. Unfortunately, they were wiped out by Sandy, and they couldn't reopen. And then they sublet to China Blue. At that time, there was a conflict with the building, and we had 6 years of litigation. But even though that the litigation was currently pending, and for that whole time, there were no complaints about China Blue and their
Ms.
operation.
Finkelstein, I want to stop because I really want to interrupt. I'm the tough guy here, and I'm going to say, I can't go backwards. I'm dealing with now, all right? And that's what we're dealing with. We're not going back to anything. We're dealing with the current situation. So we all understood, we knew Capsuto, we ate there, we did all kinds of things. The issue has been noise, drinking, street traffic, all of that. That's what, and in essence, I want you to understand, we also can't deal with the total building issue. The building and the runner, Maxwell's owner have to come to some kind of compromise. That's why we did this today as well. We heard the tenants, we're hearing from you, but I can't go backwards. And I don't, in the fairness of moving forward, I'm going to suggest that you meet somehow and that you meet with the tenants in some way. We're not mediators. You're going to have to come to some resolution, and we're going to have to see how November works.
Well, good.
Yeah, we need the building actually to approve any works at all.
I want you all to understand something. Stop. Just so you know the parameters, it is a small co-op. The owner lives in the co-op. So it's a complicated situation. I wish it weren't, but it is. So you all have to figure out something. Okay, we can't do it for you. We can't. I mean, it's not our role.
To be clear, we weren't the ones that came to you with this.
I know, but you're not the only ones, but you're we got complaints.
We have one other, we have a member who would like to speak to it.
Okay, do it quick, 2 minutes.
Absolutely. So I emailed the state in advance and all.
Good.
Be very succinct and brief. So, Manhattan Community Board 1 committee members, writing to express my support for Maxwell Social, which has quickly become an invaluable addition to our community. This establishment has not only created a welcoming space for residents to gather, but also fosters intellectual engagement and cultural enrichment through thoughtfully created classes. By way of background, my name is Bennett Grill. I've lived in Tribeca for the past 14 years. I currently reside at the Spice Building on North Moore Street. My wife Shara, and daughter Asha. I'm actively involved in the Tribeca North Neighborhood Association and also serve as treasurer and board member for Maxwell Social is more than just a social club. I really can't speak to it. I'm not familiar with smoking or drinking or other events. The hub of cultural discourse that hosts salons that include English guest speakers, curates discussions with intellectually members of the community. Earlier this year, I participated in one such salon that featured a member of the Council of Foreign Relations and a Navy captain to discuss current events in the Middle East. Wife was an entrepreneur with her own business with the police. Has attended multiple female founder focused discussions with Maxwell. These gatherings provide a unique opportunity for residents to engage with another, fosters, strengthens our neighborhood identity and vibrancy. So I strongly support Maxwell Social and the cultural and social values that they bring to Tribeca. And I hope that Community Board 1 will continue to support their efforts. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. Okay. Mark.
You think? Yes. This is a little unusual that it's a commercial co-op space, right? That's in the common, so that kind of confuses things too, and it's a sublease of a co-op. But going back to the past, quickly, the fact that the two other entities had no complaints proves that there's something different about this place. Because the same people were there before, and they didn't complain then, but they're complaining now. So whatever happening now is causing a problem. Now, can you put back up the Google map? So if memory serves me correct, the legal entrance or the main entrance as per the SLA is the Watts Street. Is that correct? Right. All right. Now, all right, go to the right. Yeah, it's there. That's the main entrance. However, every time I walk by that place, and you have photos of everyone sitting in chairs listening to a lecturer, I've never seen that. I just see people standing in there drinking. Now, if you can go around to Washington Street, but you have the address here is like 461 Washington, AKA Watt Street. It should be the other way around, even if this is legal. So the far right door is where they allow people in and out. There's a bouncer standing there and he checks the deal, whatever, the membership, whatever he checks. So I think that also contributes to the problem of non-residents of hearing noise and this and that door is open all the time. And every time I walk by at different hours, there's people there drinking, there's people outside. So why are you not using the main entrance and using this as your main entrance?
We are using the main entrance occasionally. We also use that one too.
I counted 10 times in a walk by over the last month or so where I've never seen anyone use that entrance. They just go in there.
I guess I don't know how to answer that question. I can tell you what the reality is, which is that we use both entrance. We have a check-in desk at that other entrance, the last entrance. We don't actually have a check-in desk at the,
All right, so as part of helping the community with noise, can you not use the Washington Street entrance
The
anymore?
funny thing is, we've actually been asked by the building because they get annoyed with people congregating in the foyer, which has access to the elevator on the Watt Street entrance, sometimes use the Washington entrance more. We've been asked to do different things at different times, depending on which tenant was distressed with us. And so.
Can't win with these guys.
We can't win in general. All right.
But there could be a problematic thing if they're continuing to not use the main entrance as per the SLA. So,
Well, that's an issue.
yeah.
But
Can you
anybody on like,
confirm that?
Nothing that says we can't use any entrance.
I think that's why
I'm not sure, because in the application, was that ever put down as an entrance in the initial application?
I don't think so, but
So,
I.
yeah, that's the whole point.
Jane, go on, and then I want to call on.
So that's the
People
problem.
online, and are the people part of your group? Who are they?
Yes.
Is Roger Perlmutter and Ronald Different.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna call on that. I'm gonna call on the call after Jane. We're gonna call on the co-op members who are here. Go on.
I'm looking at the picture of the group, that's the meeting, and I'm looking at the ceiling. I just want to share that, I'm in an old, 150-year-old, building that, Duane Street, that similar configuration. I had, my landlord rented to a boxing club. So I had people boxing underneath me all day long.
Yeah.
And I had to work with the boxing club so that I didn't hear that as bad as it could be. And the only way we worked it out was sitting down, and he had to lower the ceiling, fill it up with all kinds of material. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just saying that it's doable, but it's gotta be two people sitting down, because before the man moved in, the boxing club, he lowered the ceiling, spent $40,000, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And it was only when I complained that whatever you didn't work,
Yeah.
that he had to reconfigure, and it included him also not using certain equipment that boxers use that made tremendous noise that he was unaware of.
All right.
So what I'm saying is, it has to be a meeting of the minds, in that there might be certain things like the pipe that she's talking about, that you can hear words and whatever, that maybe that has to be reconfigured.
It's not gonna solve it.
We're not gonna solve it, but it's two to weigh and measure each other's concerns, and they have to be resolved.
Jump in, Gabby.
Appreciate that you guys have come here. I appreciate that you've been a safe space to members of the community and that you're hosting community events. I think initially the problem is there was a misrepresentation of what Maxwell's was, and there was initial sign off and support by the co-op and the condo, and that has, the communication and the misrepresentation has led to mistrust. That's on you guys to figure out.
What was the misrepresentation?
We're gonna be a private social club that was gonna host events that the volume of music would be background, no sound, and performances or music will be heard outside the premises or by neighbors.
And if you can hear full conversations, our entire point is that if you can hear conversations, music, it probably is background music. And my whole point here is like, we are trying, and we are doing that. I don't think you misrepresented that at all.
I think neighbors and other people come and saying that there has been loud music and saying that there has been there's been people outside, there's been smoking, there's been things like that. You need to hire better security, you need to manage. Residents need to come together, your staff, and you really need to come up with something, because this month this isn't gonna fly here. So you have a month to sort it out.
I just want to make a point. When did you submit the request?
May was the first time.
In May, we submitted, May, June, July, August, September, October, 7. We're proposing, we're proposing doing what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
If they don't let us do it.
And right, I completely agree. I don't want to speak over you. And we residents, and I want to thank all the residents who have come and who have spoken in the past. It's to your best interest as well to let them make changes, but you guys have to come together and have to figure it out. You have to listen to them, or else everybody's just going to be miserable forever. We can't have that. So we have to come together and we have to find a way to move forward. I think they've admitted that they were wrong in the past. You've got to be better to the community.
Yeah, but it sounds like the people who live above them, I'm not defending them, but it sounds like the people who live above them will let them make the changes that they're.
That's what I'm saying. The residents
So it's really the
of the
residents.
building have to come together and
They gotta work together.
You have to humble yourselves. You have to say that you were wrong, and then you need to.
Right. 2 minutes, go.
My name is Jonathan Bernstein. I work for the building, no relation to Donald Bernstein. I'm not gonna make any representations on my own. I'm gonna say, go take a look at this committee meeting from when Maxwell made their initial application on May 12th, 2021, and I'm gonna focus on there were a lot of representations that were made. That meeting is available on YouTube. I'm gonna pick out two quotes, but there are plenty of representations. One is, we are not gonna be open to the public for private events. Number two is, we're building the space to fit group sizes of 10 to 20, not to fit group sizes of 150. That's at the 1 hour, 29-minute mark and the 1 hour, 32-minute mark. Don't take my word for it. I definitely think, I can't speak on behalf of the board. The consensus of the board is to request and not renew. It's not unanimous. The applicant's landlord wants them to be able to renew. But don't take don't take any of my representations. Go watch the YouTube, watch the presentation from 2021, and then go look at the website as it stands right now. The garden room can accommodate 200, and the grand room can accommodate up to 170. This is an advertisement as an event space. Look at the applicant's private blog in an entry October 25th. Maxwell was built to throw the ultimate dinner party. Here is a picture from that blog post of a party, of a full event, not 10 to 15, but 150.
That's what I see when I walk.
I understand.
There are several blog posts, and then there are 8 websites that are event websites where they're advertising 8,000 square feet capacity. This is partyslate.com with a full DJ booth. It's theknot.com. It's AbigailHirsch.com.
We completely understand and we sympathize with you. Private club underneath where I lived and there was noise canceling between the first floor and where the club was. I'd be upset too, but.
The representation that was the basis for approval of the co-op and the representation that was the basis for approval of this committee was that this wasn't going to be a private event space. And definitely a compromise here. The compromise is social club that you promised you were going to be. Don't open it as a private event space.
Can I ask a quick question? Why aren't you amenable to the noise canceling?
Yeah, that's what.
What, I'm sorry?
Why aren't you amenable?
Well,
to the noise
I wasn't, really prepared to talk about all of what the issues are. And I don't want to expand beyond the issue that's the question here today. But there are significant issues with the construction and issues that were just presented now. This is an issue that I raised with the landlord 15 months ago. They were given permission to excavate the basement to capture an additional 8 to 9 inches of headroom that was on the basis of a 12-inch probe. And they dug 20 inches. It was without a review of an architect, it was a review of an engineer. So the decisions are not made in a vacuum.
I understand, but I want you all to understand. Don knows this, and there, other than things that I think you can rectify, issue is that you're so intertwined that we can't get there from here. We just can't do it, because it's all schmutzed, as they say in the old country. It's all intertwined, and you're gonna have to figure out something. I can't work it for you. We can make them, as Mark says, or ask them to abide by certain rules and regulations in terms of traffic and other neighborhood people who have been here. It wasn't just the co-op who complained, to try to rectify that situation and the hours and what goes on. But no, I'm not gonna call him. I'm just gonna end it because he can't go on and
Say 2 words.
Oh,
I'm trying to sell my co-op all during this mess. 2 years. People ask, what's it like living over a social club and event space? End of story.
I understand. I understand, but we can't. All right, we're gonna stop the discussion now. I'm gonna recommend that you all at least figure out a way to talk to one another. Because we can't But this is stuff.
So the candy.
And you watch what you're doing in terms of time and people out there. I promised two people online that they could speak. You each have 2 minutes. Gabby's gonna keep tab, and then we're ending this. Go, Roger.
You hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. This is Roger Perlmutter. I'm Vice President and Treasurer of the Cooperative Washington, BC Studio Corporation. And what I guess I'd like to say is very simple, and it is parallels of what Jonathan Bernstein said, and that is that there has been substantial misrepresentation by Maxwell Social from the very beginning. We were promised a private club, small groups, and we got an event space. We were promised background music at most, and we got DJs, performances, percussion, driving beats. We were promised actually a place in which there would be packaged liquor provided for the guests. They would purchase it themselves and keep it in lockers. If you go back and look at the video, that's what was proposed. What we got instead was this bar service. And drunken revelers who spill out into the street and a great disruption of the neighborhood. And you've heard about all of that before. Originally, of course, it makes sense, a new place in our neighborhood, that you would have hours that are fairly limited with 10 p.m. on weekdays and 11 p.m. on weekends. We went through exactly this kind of discussion with the hotel that is incorporated into the same city block. And came to a good agreement, which was very important, that limited their hours. What a surprise it was then that they had 4 a.m. every night. And I think, as Robert Finkelstein pointed out, previously for Capsuto Frères and for China Blue, there were no complaints. And by the way, I lived there during the entire time. And with Capsuto Frères, I had one complaint with China Blue. I went downstairs and they stopped the noise immediately. That has not been our experience with Maxwell Social. Thank you very much for your attention.
They do not have till 4 a.m. I want to tell you this, the stipulation is very clear. It's 1 a.m. I want us all to be very clear. That's what the stipulation says. Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying 1 a.m. Ronald?
Well, thank you. I'll be very brief. I just want to address the Shabbat safe place that David uses. I think it's a little iffy to I mean, I'm a practicing Jewish man. I know Shabbat is not supposed to be, you have fun. We thought that you were going to have dinners. People come there, they don't have their own kitchen. They want to hang out with some friends. You make dinner, just like Roger said. You have a nice gathering. You do some blessings. You do whatever you want. You have dinner. This is Shabbat. Safe place after October 7th, please. Don't use that memory to justify the noise that you're making. Please don't do that. Don't go there. I think that you can easily save the place by dropping the seating over the DJ table. The equipment of DJs today have improved tremendously. It has nothing to do with what Capsuto had. Much louder, much bigger, much better. And I saw the table. I was there 3 nights ago. I wanted to see the situation myself. This is a table for, not Madison Square Garden, but it's powerful. And the ceiling above it is not dropped. You can see the beams from the late 19th century. So please be honest. This is not everything that you should do.
One last question and then we're ending this.
Is Mr. Perlmutter still on for a question?
I don't.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Can I ask him a couple of questions?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Perlmutter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions about the commercial lease. So when the commercial lease was enforced, and I'd like to know when it expires as well. I want to know what the expiration is, the deciding tenure and the 5 plus a 5. I want to know when the expiration is. But when you issued the commercial lease, in the lease, there should be stipulations of what you could sell, what your hours are opening and closing, and so on and so on. Did you issue the commercial lease to them?
Well, the cooperative, and Jonathan can speak to this, we have house rules, as you can imagine, and those house rules are quite restrictive in terms of what they do.
No, I know what house rules are. House rules are for tenants that live in the co-op. The commercial lease that was exercised, in your commercial lease, there has to be stipulations for opening and closing, what they can sell, what they can't sell, for everything. What does that commercial lease say?
If I could have Jonathan speak to this.
Sure. The cooperative is not the landlord. It's one of the tenant shareholders. That's the landlord.
It's,
Yeah.
you
So
weren't here.
it's the proprietary lease.
That's absolutely, that's why, here we are. That's why I'm in this discussion right now. Well, they did say live music in their stipulation.
They did say DJ.
They said yes to
did,
DJ,
yes, they did.
and we approved
Amplified.
it.
Yeah, well, it's a long story, but that's not
Can
good.
I say one last thing here about?
And
this?
then you
This
gotta
is-
go. I've had enough.
This has been consistently put forward in many of Joan's emails. It was, we were never supposed to be cooking. The presentation I made to you guys was a club based off the San Sebastian Eating Club, where the entire point is cooking. And that Ron went and saw, the space and, he doesn't know all the events we do. The reason why we printed all those out is because, yes, like, believe it or not, a bunch of guys sitting, at a fireside chat doesn't play well on Instagram. So most of what you see on Instagram are like more social things. And yes, drinking is allowed, it is a part of
Well,
it.
we know
But
that.
yes, but like, this is not the only thing we do, and it is unfair to basically say that it is.
But
Well,
nobody's
that's
complaining
not
about
the
the
issue.
quiet event.
That's not the,
The amount of.
so let's be very
Representing the
clear.
proportion, the number of things that would be
No,
proportional.
no, no,
How
no.
would do this.
You've gotta listen. And but I'm thanking you, you've all gotta listen. It's what is in the community, what's happening outside, what spills outside, what you have to deal with the co-op is, you're gonna have to figure it out because it's too convoluted, Donald.
We can't do it unilaterally.
Oh, well, all right. So thank you all for coming. We will see you in December.
Please figure it out by then.
Please figure it out by then. Try to work it out.
Let me out. I want to get.
Well, that's for you to do, Olivia. I can't be involved in that.
You guys
You're
should.
gonna have to do it.
But for the record, we actually did offer to buy her
They're
lawn.
willing to lower the.
I'm not joking. No response, crickets,
Go.
literally.
Thank you.
That's another misrepresentation.
Thank you.
The residents know there's no suggestion.
Then, oh, yeah, got it.
See you next month.
I'm exhausted. You better all be very nice.
We're good.
211 West Broadway here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for.
Hello, Jerry.
They should at least give them the opportunity.
Talk to us.
So I came just to get the outside approved again.
Roadway.
That was all.
For the road.
What is the outside?
No more than that.
Read through it.
Yeah,
What's the outside, a cafe?
yes. So if I'm on the cafe slash restaurant, outside seating, it's not near the curb. It's, fully compliant with the city and the building, and we've had the landlord approve it as well.
It's on a raised platform, surrounds the restaurant.
This was previously
Well,
approved.
that's Farrell's on the corner.
No changes.
Ours is in
Okay.
the street and it's next to Farrell's.
Okay.
Karen.
Call question.
All in, a second. I need a
Second.
second. All in favor?
Thank you, guys.
Sorry,
you had to sit through that.
Mark, right along. Mark, did you vote?
Yes.
95 South Street.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
95 South Street is the Fulton, yeah. As this is two alterations, we're gonna present at the same time because they're related. The Fulton's been operational for 5 years. They had ground level outdoor seating. They're getting rid of it and giving it to their neighbor, Pure Village, also run by the same folks. Both have been operational for 5 years without incident.
Thank you.
Pure Village is also adding the former Momofuku space to its venue because Momofuku is no longer. So they're adding the second floor of Momofuku and a portion of the ground to just allow access to the upstairs. So they're
Fulton. Not Pier 17, Fulton.
Is it John George restaurant?
It's the Fulton is Jean George. They're just getting rid of the ground floor. That's easy.
Yeah.
Pure Village, which is the open air venue,
Okay.
is taking,
Upstairs, yeah.
it's taking the upstairs of Momofuku and the outdoor ground of the Fulton. Rather than have it vacant and not operational, Pure Village will just assume the operations of that name space. Same method of operation, same stipulations, not asking for anything more, just a reconfiguration of the space.
Why not?
So Pier Village will have the outside and the second floor?
Yeah.
And the Fulton will have the first?
The Fulton already second floor,
Okay.
but the Fulton has the second floor terrace and then a ground level patio. The patio is what we're getting rid of. Got it.
Barbara, the hours are the same.
Ours is, nothing's changing.
Nothing's changed. They got these hours. We gave it to them.
We got them.
New Village is the Coral Alley?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
Sorry, I'm going by the legal name.
Yeah.
For Alley.
Call the question.
Yeah, can you call the
Second.
question?
Okay, all in favor?
We didn't second it technically.
Second.
Second it, all in favor.
Thank you.
So that's 95 and 89.
Stay.
Right?
What?
Mark didn't get it.
No, I'll tell you why later.
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
Thank you.
225 Murray?
Yeah.
Night.
Here, you want these two?
225 Murray?
No, I have a.
They have bluefin tuna on the menu. Bluefin tuna's endangered.
I love
So
it.
I can't good
It
conscience.
doesn't matter.
Oh, wait, the.
I can't good conscience sweet.
That's all right.
Who are you?
Murray.
Endangered, it's endangered species.
225 Murray is where?
That's in the corridor, the back door of, Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, although the address.
Movie theater is
Oh, it's a new space. It was,
next door to Shake Shack.
it was former
Oh,
Shake Shack.
Yeah,
Next door to Shake Shack.
next door, it's empty now.
Harris.
Formerly Harry's Italian.
Oh, I wondered why Peter was here. Now I.
Right.
Okay.
Between what and what?
We haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, the sign says renovations right now. Always says
Yeah.
I printed 10, I guess it's
So
more than
what's
10.
different?
Okay, it's all right. We need one.
What do we have to
Perfect,
discuss?
Not a whole lot, we're,
Yes, he's addressing across the.
what's the formal,
I need one at a time, Mitch.
Sorry, I was asking what across where it was.
It's in the walkway.
The corridor at the movie theater.
North end.
You know where the Shake Shack?
That's Club City.
No.
No, okay.
It's really the finance, it's further up. It's really at,
The beginning is by the.
No, it's
Right,
not,
Battery Park City. It is.
but it's a movie theater.
Yeah.
isn't it?
There's a map.
Between the Conrad Hotel and the Goldman Sachs.
We'll find out.
and it's right in that walkway, that
Right.
covered walkway where
Well,
Shake
Shake Shack
Shack's on the corner.
It's very-
The Vegas, the Vegas place.
Bang the place. We have our wine shop there as well.
There are.
Discuss this.
And this is a transfer application. Peter owns and operates Harry's Italian. They're bringing in a new partner and rebranding as Seppi Pizza. They signed stipulations with y'all back in 2011. We're asking for the exact same stipulations, no more, no less.
But
Peter's
let's
still
see
on.
the hours because
They're
we
very
changed
similar
hours, guys. You're not gonna get away with it. So,
Because there are.
You should know by now, yeah.
Residential building in the area.
and it's a whole, and they're a lot, it's
So I want
complicated.
that little breezeway myself. There were no residents
But
in
right on the
occupancy.
corner of West Street and Murray is a really,
I'll let y'all review. You can
and
ask me
then
questions.
at the over
I'm gonna look at the hours.
So is it a sit, it's similar to Harry's,
So
a sit down pizza?
it's
It's
very, very
It's
similar.
basically a refresh of what we have here.
And you still have the
Still
seating.
pizza, still seating, still delivery, a little bit more of a focused menu, not, I would say a little less traditional, a little bit more contemporary. And.
The bar area is the same? Bar area is gonna be the same?
Bar, yeah, not.
What's changing? What method of operation
One,
changing?
one.
Really nothing, just the
And
orange.
what, any renovation, seating,
All decorative.
The layout's the same, it's just, yeah.
So
renovations
capacity is
to
the
do decorative.
same?
Capacity's the same, everything's the same.
So it's just an ownership change.
Exactly, and Peter is still involved on.
And I'm involved even more now than I was before.
I hate to say this,
The hours.
The hours.
but
The hours.
Listen, we used to give 4 AM. What do you want?
Not while I've been here.
Well.
yeah,
for a long
sometimes,
time.
yeah, used to- back in the day.
It's when we were individual,
Are you gonna be open until 4
committees.
AM?
I don't
We-
think so.
We were not.
Before
Yeah,
8
we were not sure we were open until 4 AM.
Make a suggestion to make everybody happy and see if my committee will go along with it. Will you take till 2 AM, except on Sunday? I'll give it to you, we'll give you 6 days a week. Don't look at me, Joe. 2 AM. We'll give it to you and you can come back in 6 months. If you tell me you're doing a snap bang business and you need to stay open till 4 AM, nobody's gonna be there. But don't make us do something, don't make us say no. Take 2 AM. Well, that's a reasonable deal. I think everybody's gonna go along with me. And Sunday, I would like you to close at 10 PM. That's really our rule, unless my committee tells me they'll give you an hour more.
No, nobody,
But
we love them, but
you're
no.
not gonna like what I'm about to say.
I don't care. You know I don't care.
And coming from me, all they're doing is changing ownership. If they were doing renovations and changing a method of
I
operation
love you,
and
Mark.
doing all that stuff, I can see where we have an argument to ask them to change their hours, even though it's 4 AM. You know me, I'm like, you know,
We know you, Mark.
you know how I am about the hours and whatnot, but in all fairness, if they're not changing their method of operation and there's been no complaints,
14 years in space.
I don't see where we have really a right to ask them to make that modification,
I want to just say he's right.
honestly.
I live
So,
around the corner and I agree, nobody's gonna be.
Yeah,
But you're gonna close at, I'll give you till 11 on Sunday, but no 4 on Sunday.
we gotta make it clear in the red that he's swearing that he's not changing any method of operation,
Well,
just decorative,
You'll see, you saw it in the bar, everything is in the same.
I believe it, but we need to put it on.
Highway,
You have no idea what I just did.
What
The only-
happened?
The only concern I do have is the outdoor seating hours on Sunday is 12 AM.
That was, I believe it was in the original
It's the
stipulation, we
existing.
can come back on it.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know where it is, Gabby. It's that,
No, I can.
Right, it's close to traffic, it's not open to the public.
Yeah, that's
everybody
different.
lives there.
Yeah.
Everybody live out, you know.
No, I live around the corner. Yeah.
Are we gonna keep the 4 and then the 11?
The 11th.
Sunday.
11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's nobody down there, so maybe it's good to have people up there. Mitch?
Yeah, but not.
I just have one question on the liquor license stipulation sheet, number 6, I will close all doors and windows by 10 PM. But then you also have checked, I will not have open doors or windows, so I was just curious about that.
That might be a mistake on our end, the frontage does open, right, the window. Yeah, they do open, we'll close it by 10 o'clock.
So
Okay,
then,
bye right now.
then there's another thing checked that I will not have any doors or windows open.
That's fine, we can.
No,
add
no.
that. I'm there.
You're gonna have doors and
There are Bluebird windows.
I understand.
Yeah, they'll be closed
We got
whatever
it?
you want.
Sunday is the only day we're changing and you're doing the outdoor at 10.
You got it.
We know.
Oh,
It's been in
Can
forever.
somebody call the question?
Hold on a second.
Second.
All in favor? There you are.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I will see you all soon. All right.
That's
thank you.
because you've been good neighbors.
Thank you, thank you.
No complaint. Nice to see you,
Thank you very
Peter.
much. Great to see everyone.
Sorry.
Harry sends his best as well.
How's it going?
When
he's
Number 6. There's nothing in
I
between.
will not.
I was just talking about that the other day. I went to pizza.
Honestly, I would love
Well,
it.
you have to be consistently fair. It's the only way to run.
When they open.
Oh, we didn't ask when they're opening. I would imagine not for a couple of months. Probably
Yeah,
not
it's been,
Christmas.
it's been closed for a few months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we should have.
This is 6 Murray.
You'll ask.
6.
Oh, there's, we'll call them up and ask.
I use it for my script.
I know you-
Peter, I'm fine at the big, Upper West Side. I want to move to the quiet area, the 6 Mary, New York 10017. We're gonna just move from the Upper West Side to the Tribeca area. That is a fine dining, sushi, omakase restaurant, per person $315. And we have 2 slots only, we require reservation customer. By appointment only. There's 2 slots starting at 5:45 PM or 8:45. And, Friday and Saturday, 6:50 and 9 PM. It's take the 3 hours cost. So 20 courses include sushi and like the kind of the small appetizer and the dessert and the tea all inclusive. So, so we will open the Monday to Thursday and Sunday. Monday to Thursday 4 to 12 AM and Friday and Saturday 4 to 1 AM. Sunday 12 PM to 12 AM. Yeah, because we are requested reservation customer. We just take the 2 slots. One time, 10 people at the maximum, and the bar area, that's 8 people, just for the, waiting area, right? The waiting area for the dining customer.
So I have a couple of questions and then Mark. Do we have a picture of the front? I want to see, I have a couple of things to ask. The whole spot. All right, so that, where's the entrance?
That's the front.
Yeah, there's.
And are there people upstairs from you?
I think on the floor.
And nobody there at the second floor.
Well, this is a residential building.
I believe it is.
Property type multifamily. So
No signatures.
Second floor is an apartment on the street.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be making it.
I don't think you're gonna have any.
I guess the only thing, I have no trouble with any of it. The only thing I have is trouble on Sunday. I just don't think she can do Sunday.
Well, they would go, she said 12 PM to what?
They want 12 AM on Sunday.
So when the customer come in at 8:45 on Sunday, basically that's it. Nobody coming in 9 PM or 10 PM.
I got it,
So
but
reservation by 8:45 and nobody else coming in. So we
So
don't-
8:45, you make sushi, blah, blah, blah. So, 11, we'll give you 11, but not 12.
Yeah.
Don't fight me.
And it would take us 3 hours to finish the dinner, the longer.
So,
dinner.
what do they call it?
Omakase, start at like 8:45, like, so, we keep the problem in the can, cut them, so.
We can't start earlier? You can't start early?
No, they have. They're on 6 hours.
So I get it, okay, if they start early, then 12.
I don't think, don't look
No,
at
that's
me,
what
I
I
don't
started
need it.
one before. And then.
All right.
3-hour increments.
What do you want to do?
Start earlier on Sunday.
11 o'clock.
We said 11, they said they need 12 because it's a set, a pre.
Well, they can be serving till 11, they would be open till 12.
Unless they do 2.5 hours.
No.
No, normally the hour we give is when everything should be closed up.
Okay, is that no
Only-
alcohol?
It should be closed at the hour.
Don't fight.
What did you say?
11.
So can we stop the, actually taking order by 11?
Yeah.
Or you gotta have the glass of the sake left on.
Yeah, you're not gonna clear the table by
I'm
11.
not gonna clear the table. They can't serve liquor.
But just.
Take it right out of their hand.
Last call is at 11.
Last
call is at 11.
1300.
11 PM.
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Ridiculous.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
All in, call.
Question, but-
Second.
Wait, I have a question. So you are saying you want to open at 4 PM, but
Sushi gotta be good.
in the interest of not having you maybe come back here again, maybe you're doing good business and then you want to open at 12. So why don't you put an earlier hour so you don't have to come back here to modify your time?
step away, right?
12 o'clock?
To do that, that'd be great.
12 o'clock, okay.
Fair enough.
Every day 12 o'clock.
12 PM, 12 PM.
They're regular hours.
You don't have to open, but just in case.
And you don't have to come back, you don't have to bother.
Right.
And then no DJ.
All right, Paul, second.
A
All
second.
in favor? Thank you.
Good luck.
10 Maiden Lane, 20 Maiden Lane.
20, I'm sorry, 20 Maiden.
I'm gonna call,
What's your vote? You didn't vote.
Yes, I was looking at the stocking prices. I need $1,000. I'm in shock.
Keep forgetting to ask them when they're open.
It's cheaper to go to
Hey,
Japan
this-
and get the real.
I can go to Japan again.
So now we do, Mark made them, yeah. They said 4, but
Here's
now
another
Mark.
one. Yeah, they're gonna come back.
When they're opening for,
She'll go.
Wait, come back.
When are you opening? Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Have copies, I don't have enough for everybody.
We
I
don't
don't
hear.
know.
You're back? What happened?
Anybody want?
I'll share.
Oh, God, what else do we have?
You know, when you hear everybody more than one, you
Are
can
you
back
back?
to back. Just
Oh,
say-
okay.
You know, Susan, no.
No.
Never got good, very difficult.
Anybody would like that?
What they always did.
Thank you.
She likes to have me.
Under different circumstances.
only when you're.
20 Maiden Lane.
I always love it.
So 20 Maiden Lane, you're near what?
We have Liberty. One more.
Broadway? No,
It says at Liberty Place.
Liberty.
Liberty Place, yes.
Yeah.
This is in the Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn was licensed, had a hotel license from as far as we can tell, from 2009 to last year, and they gave up their hotel license. Rama and his company have leased a restaurant in the hotel. The hotel is not looking for a license, so this is just a restaurant license for the restaurant that was in the hotel. There is no outdoor space. It's small, the capacity is only 65 people, recorded music only. The hours are from 6 AM and they want to start early because it's a hotel, so they want to have breakfast available for the hotel guests. And it closes at midnight.
Yes.
It's in the hotel.
Hotel.
So we have to, I'm not gonna quibble with the hours.
Call
of
the
the hotel.
question.
Second. All those in favor? All those, any opposed?
Everything.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh,
Son?
Indian food, northern, southern, what kind of food?
It's mainly American food and also a little bit multi-cuisine because hotel has a lot of different clientele, so we want to make everyone happy.
Oh, you make
Uh,
it.
You're gonna have some special dishes on the side.
It's a little bit, yes, the chicken tikka masala. and- My,
Do you do delivery?
we do delivery, yes,
Oh, great.
takeout, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're not close.
So my background is hotel restaurant operating.
You're a pro, got that. What else?
When do you open?
Probably like in 3 months.
Good.
Yeah.
Good luck. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mark said you-
Okay. Are you 11 Wall Street?
Mark.
Oh, sorry.
Bye, now, come.
In the interest of efficiency.
Oh, yes. Well, you go.
What are we doing?
Yeah, let's 11 Wall Street.
Correct.
11 Wall Street?
All right, what's 11 Wall Street?
New York Stock Exchange.
You were here.
Oh, I can't stand the things on your building, you know.
What, and why is back there? You open up the kitchen?
It's a cost.
I haven't been here since 2006.
That was.
Yeah, we got liquor licenses. I'll let people.
Yeah, there's two
It's 2006?
We have
Wait,
two
wait,
applications.
Wait.
Just to be clear, there are two applications. One is a new application with a temporary permit for
Yeah.
the
Two
basement for one, and the other one is a class change for floor 6 to 8. Which one do you want?
Why is this so?
Let's do 68 first.
Yeah.
Can we do that first?
Sure. You have a restaurant there for the employees for
We do catering.
catering, that's what it
So we do catering
I
for
remember when
the
they-
listed companies within the New York Stock.
is. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, how long have you been around?
Since 1903.
No, I know the stock exchange, not you.
1996.
That's when you started.
That's the first event I did.
Yeah,
I've been there full
Cause I
time.
remember them coming.
2000, I was here too, so there was a change. There was an old club there that went bankrupt and I
Right.
got the license in 2006. It was in the middle of
World Trade Center.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So all we're doing right now is the catering space, we're just changing the licenses slightly to make them a little bit more aligned with some of the changes that have been made.
Like
Let's
what?
say-
Like what?
Like what?
So we're opening up again, you know, yes.
Sorry, I'm their attorney, Amanda Taylor.
Okay, Amanda, we just need one, Francis and I'll share.
Okay, well, these are for the two of.
Yeah. And I'll give it to Onesh.
So we're starting with 6-3 floor first.
Yes.
So that's a catering establishment, and that's existing right now is a on-premise liquor on the 7th floor. We're changing it from an on-premise liquor to a catering establishment and expanding it to cover 6 through 8 floors. Because they have spaces where they have.
That's kind of cool.
For liquor, that's what we want.
And then they just take off.
So those will be venues for catering.
But it's already existing there.
Yeah, I know. How many people?
How many people do we serve?
Yeah, more or less.
What's the capacity?
All floors.
All floors combined, about 500.
I could use this.
500?
But it's inside, it's everybody
It's
inside.
lowest in the building and it's all soundproof.
And there's no,
We don't-
balconies or?
No,
Nothing.
we don't allow music, we don't allow dancing, we
What's
don't go
the-
past 10 o'clock.
Joe,
So, to be clear, the times that we see all the hundreds of black cars on Wall Street that are backed up onto the sidewalk, that's not part of what you do. So there's giant parties,
So they're attending events probably during the day.
is that no. At night, black cars on the sidewalk,
Well,
you can't
especially
get
with their
a
hours.
acoustic in between the cars.
On the sidewalk?
Yeah, they're back there, so many of them, they're backed up onto the sidewalk, the cobblestone onto the sidewalk. My question is, are you part of that?
No.
You probably
That-
will be, because.
but that's-
basically
that-
they
I think
operate
that's-
in the-
But you're talking on Broad Street?
In the stock.
He's talking about the,
this is,
Private parties, tuxedos, they have.
We don't have to have
Governor-
tuxedo
not
parties.
that,
Whatever.
that's not that,
that's
That's
Cipriani. No,
That's
no, that's.
Cipriani.
No, it's not.
It's 20, it's the
Always
23
Well,
Wall
it's
Street, it's
reserved
the old, it's the old,
No.
it's a long wall.
I know what I'm talking about, because you have your security there, and they're all walking in their tuxedos and gowns through the stock exchange entrance.
Well, we do events, but we don't have to have something. Never down. It's all business.
No, this is at night, they're private parties.
Oh, it
I
goes
mean,
so
you have dignitaries there, you have celebrities there.
Not that.
When we have dignitaries occasionally, but we do
Probably
stuff
the
for
IPO
corporations.
event. It's
No.
separate on that.
No, it's not.
this is it, wait, Joe, this is between, you're talking about between Broadway and William?
Talking about the ends of the stock exchange where they have security,
That's Broad Street.
Fourth Street. But the stock is Gordon Wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So black,
That's not them.
I don't think that's, I've never seen.
Maybe I complain about it all the time, like, why are they so special? They have a park their
Okay,
cars
Google
there.
Maps.
we don't talk about.
No, they're giant.
The steakhouse that came in to complain about the. That's different.
Joe, that's the one that left here because they had all these complaints with the people. I
It's not
know
that.
exactly.
I'm just asking her.
Yeah.
No,
it's not that.
There's a steakhouse at 30 Broad
Yeah.
called Reserve.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what he's talking about.
Has all those people parked in front on. Broadway.
Yes.
That's what that is.
No,
We only let 1 or 2 cars through our security gate.
no.
Look at area, it's very secure.
The Broad Street.
But
you can't
he's
have
saying
cars.
no, so
I know,
we
but
don't
they
know.
let them in because they're dignitaries. They're giant limousines parked on the sidewalk, on the cobblestone and the sidewalk.
I think it's stock exchange,
that
it's
you?
not that.
No,
It's not, I've never seen a limousine.
I've seen on the, we'll have to take a picture and see. I don't, I'm.
One or 2 cars, you can't even get within our security perimeter.
I know, I know.
Special security. If we have a world leader, yes, then they'll let cars in.
The whole
But they
area.
never
was
is.
locked down,
But that's
so-
during the day, not at night.
There's nothing on that.
Okay. Any questions for this gentleman?
Any other questions?
Any other questions for floor 6 to 8, giving him the liquor license, blah, blah, blah? Let them reconfigure.
The time.
Okay, can we do, should we do, we'll do it separately. Let's do this one.
Just a reminder, this is the class change that we're about to vote on.
Yes,
Floors 6 to 8.
yes, right, changing 7. Right,
Changing 7 and then adding 16.
that's right. Call the question,
Second.
Second.
all in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
let's do the next one.
Okay, so the other application is for on-premise liquor license for a restaurant that's in the basement. The hours there are 2 to 10 p.m. Fee is 120. One bar, only recorded background music. It's mostly serving people that are already in the area and in the building.
Wouldn't take people off the street.
It is open to the public. You do have to go through, obviously.
So I could walk in there and
Well,
say,
you have to be a guest, I think, for someone, but it's, anybody could be a guest.
Anyone can get, you have to make arrangements. You can't, you'll have to have reservations.
so I would have to call on the phone and say, can I come alone?
You're welcome anytime.
Careful about what we do, but,
But then we have because our security is very tight.
anybody have any trouble? Okay, call the question, somebody.
Call the question.
Second, all in favor? No black card, go back.
Can we get a tour maybe one time down the road?
Are you, what am I allowed to just say yes? or-
Yes,
Yeah,
we would love it.
yeah.
Just call.
So the
My
stock
daughter had a
exchange and,
apartment down
You
there.
can't just go to
We-
stock.
no,
Here is my,
prearranged.
here is my business. card.
Everything prearranged.
Take it.
Here is my business card. I have to just go talk to government relations first about getting you guys in, but you're welcome.
We would love it.
Time.
We're,
It would be
we're
fun.
quasi.
Be fun.
No, I just have to go through some processes. But I'm
Understand.
Greenberg, thank you.
But thank you, folks. I appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, follow up on that, yeah.
I always wonder what it's near.
See what it looks like on the rest one.
Yes.
Where are we now?
Probably get represented by.
We can get moving right along.
We did made.
32-seater?
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't realize when I came out with you guys, you were at Cedar. I live on Cedar. I'm 125 Cedar.
3 more.
125. Yeah, yeah.
You're closer to my house.
Yeah, I'm closer to your house, because, yeah, you're around the corner from me. Exactly.
Thank you, we'll share.
See there.
You're on the other side of the plaza.
Central.
Yeah.
Class change.
We're here for, pre-up report, and then we are here for class change, restaurant wine to, on-premise liquor license. And then we are open since 2022 and until now. It's trying to,
It's a large.
These are the same hours.
we're 10 a.m. to 12 a.m.
It's as same hours as we.
Yes.
Can we check that?
It says here 135.
It says, yeah.
Farida, what does that mean? Farida?
It's my name.
How many people do you expect? It says you have a capacity of,
135.
for 135.
We are not expected, we are like, think about less than 74.
Okay. So we have to change that. I mean, that's your capacity, but you don't
Does
expect.
that have
more-
live music?
We have a guitar and some traditional nationality, like guitar on the stage.
It's like acoustic performance, yeah.
Not amplified.
Not like a, not
No speakers.
Who's Becky?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, cool. The only thing, quibble is Sunday.
Sunday.
Quibble with Sunday.
Yeah.
Leave it the same at 11:30.
No. No. No, my-
11?
We'll give you 11.
Yeah.
Are those the hours now, though?
Well, you're open till 12 now?
Yeah.
And you've been open for how long?
Oh, Mark's gonna say I have to do it.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mark's
all right,
good.
whatever.
They already have the track record.
Yeah, just leave it.
You have no idea what to do with you guys tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Can we call the question?
Second.
In favor?
Thank you.
But most, note all that in the resolution, and so if we don't get called out on,
Yes,
you
but
know,
they
yeah.
had it, they did.
Yeah, they had it over
Right,
there.
so,
All right, we've got the.
Let's call it grandfathering, so they know that
All
right.
there's a reason,
All in favor?
not special.
Goodbye.
right.
Thank you very much.
I'll come by and visit you.
41 John?
That's a 40 Asia. Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan.
This is me.
Okay, got it. All right.
I've been to Kurdistan.
Check it out.
I saw a snow leopard in Kurdistan.
Huh?
I saw a snow leopard in Kurdistan.
Snow leopard?
Snow
I'm
leopard,
okay.
yeah,
Over there?
yeah, when I was over, Kurdistan,
Kyrgyzstan.
yeah.
Where else?
Yeah, 360. So I think it's.
Thank you.
Just for a glimpse of story.
You know, was you here before? Were you ever here before?
You,
Yes. Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
I will see you next month too.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was there. No, madam. Me and we represent there. He's the owner and we will be 41 John Street. The hour will be 11 to 5. It will be in 7 days a week. Yeah. 11 to 11, Monday to Thursday.
We have handouts?
So what is your capacity?
We will be less than 50 or 46.
So it's not a large venue.
No,
Sorry, this is incorrect with Friday and Saturday, it's supposed to be 11 to
11?
Is that?
41 Johnson.
Well, the application, it says 11.
11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Sunday, is
12 to 11.
12 to 11.
Okay, that's summary.
But I have a question for you. This is brand new, am I correct? Or you- brand new? You want to give until 11, brand new?
Yeah, brand new, come back in a year and we'll give you more hours at Dover
Sure.
Plain.
Having consent, you normally do that.
Yeah, just
Not
for beer
and
and wine.
Yeah.
Just for beer and wine. You wanna come back and look at later.
And if you're gonna serve what, there will be music,
Just the background music.
okay. You have a ADA
In the bathroom, yes.
bathroom. Blah, 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 blah. What kind of food?
Will be the Japanese. Yeah, they already have the 4 stars in your board. John Street, 127 John Street, he's the manager, I think.
Oh, I knew that.
High times, yeah, right. They have 4 stars in this area.
This is like adventure.
Can we call the question?
Keeping the hours?
Second.
Yeah, we're keeping the hours.
So that would be 11 to 11, Monday to Thursday, Friday and Saturday is up until 12, Sunday is up until 11.
Sunday, okay, to 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Call the question?
Call the question.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.
And to close it out,
And to close it out, who's closing it out?
Cipriani?
Oh, Greg, come up. So I am been instructed by the chair, who wrote a letter about your Battery Maritime building. Do you have that letter?
No, I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it.
So my instructions from my boss, the chairperson of the committee board, is that you have to answer this, all these questions that she has submitted.
Do we have that?
About, I can pass my copy around and you could read it quickly.
Well, I have a question.
About our access, public access.
Thank you, that's my
Well,
question.
that's Tammy's whole point.
I brought that up,
There's
yes,
yes,
that we were promised that we would have public access, and that we were promised that there would be a space on the second floor, that we might be able to hold meetings, but at least the public would be able to use the bathrooms. What happened?
We have that now, so you can come and use the restroom.
That's fine.
It truthfully, it's always been that way, but it hasn't been marketed that way.
It really has.
Has anybody else tried to go in there and gotten to go in?
I have, and I wasn't allowed.
I can tell you as of that letter, we definitely, there's signage posted.
Oh, so it took pressure from us to get it to happen?
Hang on, no. There are obligations to be open certain hours of the day, which it is. It's not 24 hours a day. It's a public-private building. There are hours when it's reserved for private use, right? But if you walked in, 3 p.m. tomorrow and wanted to go to the cafe or go to the bathroom, you will have been able to do that for well over a year at this point.
So we'll all show up tomorrow.
Yes.
You are welcome.
I went to the 4, I can't remember, 4 on a Saturday or something, they told me no.
Couldn't come in.
Couldn't go in.
So it's hard to establish when there's a wedding there. But yeah, but we have in the stipulations at least, when there's hours we don't have to be open to the public.
What are those hours?
Well, it's really based on the event schedule, so.
But how do we know when there's none happening?
Right, that's.
We're down there and we need to see.
There's a calendar on the website.
I need to see now. I haven't looked at the website.
Yes.
So how do I?
You don't have access.
Well, you walk in and.
And you tell me I can't be.
Well, then.
We do have an area, so we do share with the Staten Island Ferry Terminal. We have, not Staten Island, sorry, the Government Island. Yeah, so there is a bathroom there, so if there is a private party coming through, we do. But yes, I think we're really doing a better job at it.
Okay, we're gonna test you out.
Yeah.
Well, my suggestion, Donald, is that before our meeting on,
Full board?
the full board on the, what is it, 25th, Monday, that you answer Tammy's questions. You answer that letter, please.
Well, the letter was not addressed to us. It was addressed to EDC.
I know, but
And I-
it's not a bad idea.
Well, I reached out to Tammy. I sent her an email last week, without much of a, welcome response from her.
Well, so, what should I say?
Well, I gotta just, is it supposed to be consistently open to the public between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.?
On some days of the year.
Well, 'cause then that's misleading. Like talking about how, the other thing with, we misleading information from, the other thing. So just from reading here, I'm not saying that you're in the wrong, I'm just saying that's very misleading. They can't be both. It can't be consistently available or sometimes.
Right, but, sorry, where are you reading from?
Well, no, the question, like these areas in the swing space and loggia, these areas are not consistently open to the public from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. as required.
It is not as required.
So
This is her,
that's wrong.
this is her summarizing our lease incorrectly.
Okay, I want to know, because, so something's misleading.
So what was it, like 20, how long ago did we have this conversation?
It was 2023,
As
early 2023.
I'm saying it's not required, so maybe they're.
I was here, so I.
What did I talking about? I think it was before 2020,
I'm sorry.
because that's only 2 years, a year ago, I'm talking about when the plans were first made to renovate that building.
Oh, it would have been in 2019.
Yeah, that's, okay, and that's when we discussed.
Battery Maritime Building.
So,
That was before my time.
okay. So that's good.
We also have a coordinator that actually arranges tours, so you can go on, if you show up tomorrow, there's a QR code, you can scan with your phone, set up a tour, bring you around the space, so we're trying, I think we're really doing it, and we have done a number.
But the main issue was that we would be able to access the building.
Right.
Use the bathroom, sit in the lobby on the second floor. and-
Listen, if you're having a full big event
Right.
with black tie, we're not gonna go in.
Right.
I mean, that's not who we are.
That is the challenge of having a public-private space is that there are, and at least acknowledges that there are some days where we are allowed to close the building for private events. It is difficult, given the nature of the events business, to know 6 months in advance when those dates are going to be. That is a real challenge here.
No, it is, but we
This
don't
is
know.
like a family with a little kid that needs to use the
Right.
restaurant. There's people there's always bending, you know what I'm saying?
There's always a host outside, a captain outside, and they're
Off the
generally,
record, just,
they're good people. They're-
Well, I think that what she called for is the events, 30 days. You know all this. It's not as if, you're not doing this because you're Cipriani, you know when you're gonna have an event, Craig, you know all of
Book
this.
a year in advance.
Or whatever.
Sure.
So I know it wasn't addressed to you, but I know, I don't wanna have trouble at the big meeting. I just don't, I'm not looking for aggravation.
Cause there'll be
You're
people
gonna
like me
have
who
to
would
answer
really.
some of this, all right?
Well, I would ask, maybe for some, advice on the best forum to do so.
That's what, well, I mean, you're gonna come to the full board meeting.
Me?
Yeah.
Like me too.
Sure.
Sure.
You could be there to speak, hey, let us all yell at you, I mean, you know.
Look, I would submit that we are compliant with our lease obligations. And I've also can, the opportunity to sit and talk through each of these points. I didn't get a welcome response to that.
What kind of response did you get?
I got a response that said, I look forward to you submitting evidence of your compliance with all of these things.
You know, it's not like the EDC is coming close and saying. you got-
Well, of course, not Donald,
But that's an issue.
I know, but,
It's you're asking us to,
well, Tammy's not here.
I just don't know why this is even before look at this.
Well, committee, what
Should kinda be
do you wanna do?
qualified. Should be enlightenment. No.
His application is based on making it open to the public, so it is before. And so very good reason. You can find that, but you can find it.
So what I gather is there's some dispute about what their compliance
Right,
is,
right.
if I understand correctly.
There is.
There is no dispute. We are in compliance with our ground lease. Our lessor agrees with that position, has not made any allegations to the contrary. Because the chair happens to disagree with the interpretation, the settled interpretation of the ground lease for certain provisions, we are brought here because of.
Clarifying question.
Are you taping this?
Clarifying question, is Tammy's letter saying that they're not in compliant with their lease, or they're not in compliant with the stipulations that we've put to the court?
Yeah, we are fully compliant. with the
None of this has anything to do with the stipulation.
What she says, it has become exceedingly clear that several positions outlined in the agreement are not being met.
What agreement?
CE1 has raised these concerns with Casa Cipriani Midtown, blah, 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 blah. The space, the swing space and loggia are supposed to be open from 9 to 5 as required.
Right, but, and then he's saying that's not required, so that's a mistake, that's what I
Night.
thought before.
Can I make a suggestion?
Oh, please.
Like we did to our friends earlier, sort it out before the full board meeting, just respond to her, take this letter and respond to it with your counterpoints proving that you are compliant.
Happily, and she will not accept that. I just wanted to let everyone know.
Yeah.
There's a difference of
Obvious.
interpretation here.
I think
We and our landlord have one.
Want to deal with an executive committee?
Yeah, and I think we need to have EDC come.
My-
Diana can, somebody can come.
So why don't
Um,
you, can I
They
just,
can come.
When's our executive?
why don't you just have a written response, including whatever the lease that allowed and all the legal
So what are
interpretation?
you gonna ask Donald? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that, instead of going back and forth verbally, so Tammy has her opinion about their in compliance. So in every point that they can respond, with what's legally required.
But it's legally required to our ground lease. It is nothing.
No, I know that, but I'm saying that, or just suggesting that you put it in the writing and response. And then if you appear on the full board meeting, then everyone can read your response.
Understood. I guess my question is simply, even if we took everything she said to be true, there still wouldn't be any basis to deny our liquor license.
It has nothing to do with it. Right.
Yeah.
That's not.
If it's a response.
We're not dealing
It's
with
just about
that.
community,
It's the wrong committee. It's the public quality of life.
I understand. I do. I'm
It
just.
should either have come to quality of life or gone to executive.
Yeah, I would not give
I-
you
it
your
would not,
liquor
yeah,
license.
exactly.
I mean, that, it has nothing to do with that. But I think to make good neighbors and to make it work. So I have two thoughts. Quality of life already met. We have an executive committee No, you haven't?
They meet next week, they meet the day before. Next Wednesday.
Well, maybe you could go to that meeting.
I have one slight issue. So on the letter, you'll see that one of our commitments is to have a cultural coordinator who's in charge of doing all of this, or our cultural coordinator is resigned. We are in the process of filling that position. I would love to have the new person that we are in the process of hiring join for that. So I would ask maybe if we could come next month together with that person and we go through all of this, because that's the person who is going to continue to.
We can approve their renewal.
Today, either way.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, as long as you promise
What
to be a
does
good
that have
neighbor
to
and
do?
show up.
Yeah, what does that have to do with their liquor license?
It has nothing to do with their liquor license.
We can approve their
Right.
renewal.
Yes.
And they can answer the questions, and then they can come next month to quality of life board to inspection.
All right.
Yes.
But I think
I
EDC
would,
needs to
Tammy's
come.
gonna be mad if you guys
Stop.
I think when Cipriani came to us, something I was looking for, the year before that, about that space. We had concerns about making sure that the public would have access.
Right,
And I think this is what this is about.
right.
So I think, I don't want to speak to family owned force, and I think she's feeling that the public is not getting what we thought we were going to bless them for the state. So I
Exactly.
don't think she's feeling good about exactly all you meant.
Yeah, all of this.
That's what we did.
I understand. So the question is, at this moment, I don't feel we can not renew their liquor license, okay? So it's a renewal, there's no more than that.
No problem with the renewal.
Okay, I need just a vote. Everybody,
call the question.
second,
Second.
all in favor? Okay, so we're renewing your liquor license, and you gotta make nice, you gotta figure out. And I think you should come to the quality of life meetings.
That would be next.
But next month.
Next
Let them,
December.
let them hear this letter as best as you can.
I will send her an email.
And then let's invite.
Send her an email, absolutely.
Or
Fred, thank you for having the people on with the lights, monitoring traffic. I appreciate it. Thank you for being responsive. That's right. Yeah, we're adjourned.
Any issues on the?
No, there are no issues.
Oh, Diana used to be.
Okay.